This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball, and tonight from downtown St. Louis in Busch Stadium, the St. Louis Cardinals playing host to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Welcome to Cardinals baseball. My name is Dan McLaughlin. Delighted to have you with us on Fox Sports Midwest. We'll hear from Rick Horton momentarily, also Jim Hayes, and we've added a fourth member to our crew here tonight. One of the outstanding defensive players all time in St. Louis Cardinals history, Jimmy Edmonds. Never forget this play. Game 7, 2004. NLCS, that diving catch. 8 gold gloves, 6 of them here in St. Louis. And Jim Edmonds is with us here tonight. Now, he's not playing center field, but he's just behind the wall in center field. And Jim, you do such a great job on our pre- and post-game shows. Tell us about the perspective you hope to add to the game tonight, being in center field for the fans.
Well, first of all, I want to say that I am excited about joining this telecast tonight. And 2, I'm just trying to get a good look from behind, maybe a better look at defense while the rest of the fans and the TVs are talking about pitching and hitting. And I'm going to watch a little bit about defense and try to see if I can't pick something out, give us a different advantage from behind to see really what's going on inside the game, something we don't see every day.
Jimmy Ballgame, he'll be with us in center field. The Cardinals Hall of Famer. Should be a lot of fun tonight. John Jay in center. Cardinals and Pirates coming up. Pirates are in town. And so is A.J. Burnett. Gets the start this evening. Last year, 8-18 with the Phillies. Those 18 losses led Major League Baseball.
9-6 against the Cardinals in his career, including this terrific game a year ago in June where he gave up just 1 run in 9 full innings. He has a tremendous curveball and will pile up the strikeouts.
In the lineup tonight, Jason Hayward at 325, tuning up that swing. He's in the 6th spot. 7 for 16 off of A.J. Burnett. Burnett, Lynn coming up. Is brought to you by Budweiser, designated driver, and enjoy the great times. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And visit your local Mid-America Chevy dealers for great prices on our all-new 2015 vehicles today. Moments ago, John Jay hustling out to center field. Our friend Jim Edmonds, the Cardinals Hall of Famer, patrolled that area for years with the St. Louis Cardinals and in this ballpark, and he's with us here tonight. Along with Rick Horton in the booth, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes is here too. It's Gregory Polanco leading things off, followed by Josh Harrison and Andrew McCutchen. Neil Walker, the switch hitter, second baseman, batting cleanup. Starling Marte leads their club in home runs and RBIs. Pedro Alvarez, Francisco Cervelli, Jordy Mercer, and A.J. Burnett is batting ninth. And pitching for St. Louis, making his 5th start, right-hander Lance Lynn.
Career record of 50 and 30 with an ERA of 3.47 was not his normal command self. His last outing gave up 10 hits in 5 innings, but did have 6 strikeouts.
One ball and 1 strike on Gregory Polanco. Leads the Pirates in stolen bases with 7, third in the National League. Check swing, and it's 1-2. Hyundai pitch arsenal for Lance Lynn.
You're going to get a lot of fastballs from Lance Lynn, and we talk about it a lot. He throws it up in the zone and down in the zone. Very effective with both kinds of fastballs. 72.5% of the time. Does have a slider, a little bit bigger slider that we're calling a curve, and an occasional changeup, but he's mostly going to pound the zone with fastballs. Was not getting corners in his last outing. I think it frustrated him a bit, and he never really got on track with that command we talked about.
The 1-2 pitch to Polanco, held on by Yadier Molina, and a strikeout to start the game. A look at the Cardinals defense presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. I'm going to bring in Jim Edmonds now. Jim, you work with the Cardinals during spring training. What are you working on with John Jay the last couple of springs?
Well, actually, he's pretty polished. I was pretty surprised. He did a lot of things that I did. And actually, right now, first hitter, I've been watching him. If you pay attention to him, he's moving every time the ball crosses the plate, and he's getting that first step, and I like what I see, and that's something I had to work on.
Here is Harrison, breaking ball, and Jimmy, when you have a guy like Lance Lynn, and Rick was just talking about the amount of fastballs, so not as many off-speed pitches, does that change positioning for center fielder? And here's a ground ball that's hit to Peralta. Tough play. Off balance. Wow, what a play by Johnny Peralta. But Jimmy, does that change positioning with the amount of fastballs here with Lance Lynn?
Well, it depends if he's a sinker baller or like he is a little bit, or if the ball's going to rise up in the zone. I think you would back up a little bit if he's a fly ball pitcher. The thing I like about a lot of fastballs is you know at least what side the plate's going to be on if he's got decent enough control, and that gives you better chance to be in the right position, because usually when he's going to outside to a left-handed hitter, the ball's going to be on that side of the plate.
Former MVP Andrew McCutchen at the plate. Cardinals have held him in check if you go back to 2013. Since that time, including his MVP season, McCutchen only hitting .246 against St. Louis.
And he's off to a slow start this year as well, hitting just .194. Drastically new hairstyle for him. Kind of reminds me of the story of Samson and Delilah a little bit. He's lost his long hair and perhaps some of that strength with it.
In the air, center field. Jay back, plenty of room. And he's got it. Must have been the locks. Kept it in the ballpark. John Jay will lead it off when we come back. A 1-2-3 inning for Lance Lynn. Jimmy talked about jumps. Good jump on that ball from Jay. No score after a half inning. Initially here for the St. Louis Cardinals, John Jay will lead things off, followed by Matt Carpenter, red hot, along with Matt Holliday, who also is red hot. Then Matt Adams, Johnny Peralta, Jason Hayward, Yadier Molina, Colton Wong, and Lance Lynn. 38-year-old A.J. Burnett making his 5th start, and so far he has been lights out.
Always piles up the strikeouts, has been an over 500 pitcher against the Cardinals, and really you watch his curveball. That's his put-away pitch, and to see if the Cardinals allow him to get deep into counts and get to that put-away pitch, or if they'll start swinging early in the count at the fastball.
Big gap in right center for John Jay. Talked about it moments ago that A.J. Burnett, last time we saw him wearing the Phillies uniform, came in and threw a complete game against the Cardinals. And Jay hits it to the right side. Diving stop by Walker, and safe. Cervelli backing up, and John Jay is aboard with a leadoff hit.
Well, That was a nice play by Neil Walker, and it looked like Burnett just missed the throw. I mean, that's a tough play to make and execute when you've got a second baseman in the outfield diving and throwing, the pitcher on the move. He's thinking about where the bag is, but that's a catchable ball, and you see his head go down and try to pick up the bag. He catches that ball, John Jay's out.
You would be hard-pressed to find a better 2 and 3 in a lineup right now in all of Major League Baseball with Matt Carpenter and then Matt Holliday. Carpenter is 5th best in the National League in average at .372.
John Jay given a hit on that, which I think is the right call. Too tough a play to call an error on A.J. Burnett. Interesting, this series. I'm looking forward to this Pirates series, Dan. It's like the schedule makers up the ante in May. Cardinals have a much tougher schedule in the month of May, including these Pirates, who you would expect to be in it all season long.
Next 10 games very tough for the Cardinals. 6 of the 10 against the Pirates, and mixed in there will be 4 with the Cubbies beginning on Monday night. Andrew McCutchen does play a deep center field normally, but this is really deep for Matt Carpenter. How about Carpenter? 13 doubles already this season. That's tops in Major League Baseball. Hyundai pitch arsenal for Mr. A.J. Burnett.
The 31.7% curveball, that's what you got to watch out for. He's going to try to get ahead with fastballs and again try to put you away. The changeup used less than 4% of the time.
1 ball, 1 strike. John Jay, the runner at first base. A check on him. You mentioned that curveball. It's a knuckle curve that A.J. Burnett will throw, and he learned that in high school from his grandfather. His grandfather was the one that taught him to put the knuckle up, spin off the breaking ball with the knuckle curve. Runner goes. Throw by Cervelli is in time, and they get John Jay. Well, Russell Martin is now with Toronto, and Cervelli, who was the backup catcher for years with the Yankees, throwing out John Jay.
Thought the Cardinals might be aggressive on Cervelli. He'd only thrown out 2 out of 17, but that one right on the hip of John Jay. Nice tag. Good throw.
Here's a 2-1 pitch. Three and 1. Now Carpenter really in the driver's seat. Not afraid to hit with 2 strikes, so he can be extremely selective on the next couple of pitches. Not to his liking, takes it for a strike, 3 and 2.
Perfect example there. You're zoning in a particular area of the plate, and he must have been looking for something middle away, and that ball's inside, and you know he kind of wasn't looking for that. So worst thing you do is you take it and it's a strike, and you got another one to go after.
3-2 pitch. Lined out to left center field. There's Andrew McCutchen. Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's defense. For the Pirates, let's bring in again Jim Edmonds, who is situated in center field. I'm assuming, Jimmy, that Andrew McCutchen is one of your favorites to watch.
You know, I actually talked to him today. It was a surprise. The first time I got to talk to him one-on-one. And the cool thing that he talked to me about was the ability of his corner outfielders allows him to kind of do what he wants to do. He said they're actually freaks, which means they're pretty studly in the outfield, and I think that is awesome. If you're a center fielder and have guys like that on either side, it makes your job so much easier.
Well, that's a great point, Jim. And Dan, I think about Andy Van Slyke would say the same thing about the Pirate outfield when he was winning Gold Gloves for these Pirates. Former Cardinal player and roommate of mine, but he said Barry Bonds, when he first came up, was as good a left fielder as he's ever seen in this game. I mean, ever. He had the great arm, and they would help position each other, and he just feels like that helped him be a better center fielder.
What's interesting, too, to follow up what Jimmy was saying about the corner outfielders, Starling Marte is in left, Gregory Polanco is in right. Those two worked out together in the Dominican this offseason. And the one thing that they worked on more than anything, tracking fly balls. I mean, this outfield is as athletic and speedy as any trio in the game.
They talk about them all being center fielders, really, and that means they can play and they can go and get them. And so if you've got corner outfielders who actually have good arms too and could play center field, I think that just helps in the communication. You understand what each other's doing better. Of course, Jimmy would know that better than I would.
2-1 is hit out of play. Now 2-2 on Holiday.
I'm interested with Jimmy if there are certain pitchers that you're playing behind in the outfield that are easier to get that good jump on. If there's a particular pitcher where you just knew that when the fastball was supposed to be in, it would be in.
2-2 pitch and a strikeout of Matt Holliday. We'll talk about that when we come back. First strikeout for A.J. Burnett. No score after 1. Starling Marte and Pedro Alvarez for the Pirates here in the top of the second.
And Dan, we were talking last inning, and Jim, let me ask you, when you were playing center field, were there certain pitchers you had a better read on in terms of their command and felt like you could trust them more getting jumps in center field?
For sure, that makes the biggest difference in your game as a center fielder. When you have a guy who with Chris Carpenter control, I mean, there was times when I knew he was going to throw a cutter away to a right-hander, and I would start sprinting towards shallow right center field, and if it got fouled off or hit, it was going that direction.
1-1, a breaking ball fouled back, and it's 1-2.
Other times you have a guy who's just throwing fastballs all over the place, and your worst nightmare is when you're trying to get a guy to throw a fastball down and away, and you see the ball kind of rise up and out over the plate or up and in, and then the ball's yanked up in the air and in a different direction, and you're caught going the wrong way.
Here's a 1-2 and missed just outside. Neil Walker, 5 consecutive years he has reached double figures in home runs. He had 23 last year, the most by a Pittsburgh second baseman in terms of double figures in consecutive years.
You know, I love that thought, Dan, that Jim just came up with, but think of the times where we say that, okay, that outfielder didn't get a good jump on that play. And maybe it wasn't that. Maybe the pitcher threw the ball in the wrong spot and forced his outfielder to get a bad jump.
You're actually going to admit that a pitcher threw it in the wrong spot?
Freely.
Breaking news from
freely admit it. Some are worse than others.
The catch made by Matt Holliday. The Cardinals with 6 or more Gold Gloves. Now, Jimmy had 8 total, but 6 here in St. Louis. Ozzie Smith, Bob Gibson, Curt Flood, Yadier Molina, Jim Edmonds, and Bill White. some of the great names in Cardinals and Major League Baseball history. Here's Starling Marte. Marte with 6 home runs, 17 RBIs to lead the Pirates in those categories, and he's hitting .247.
Got a great idea for next year's telecast. We get Ozzie Smith to sit out behind the shortstop. We get Bob Gibson, get him a chair, put him right behind the pitcher's mound, have all their mics open, and we'll talk about what it's like to play those positions. Why not?
Well, no one's going to stop Bob Gibson. If he wants to go out there right now, we just say, okay, we'll find the chair.
I think that's true.
That would
That's
be like
smart.
That'd be like fantasy camp.
That's right. That's right.
Here's a 1-1 to Starling Marte. Now, Marte also leads the Pirates in strikeouts with 27 already this year.
But he hits Lance Lynn well. There's a couple guys in this lineup that do. We've seen Harrison bat already, but Marte also with very, very good numbers. Neil Walker, who's also 0 for 1, has hit Lance pretty well.
I was just going to say, if you guys could see, Johnny and Matt Holliday both moved over to their left about 15 to 20 feet as soon as he got ahead in the count. And there you go.
Into right, there's Hayward. Nice play. It's a great look in her shot behind home plate. The movement of the outfielders on that last pitch. Toyota keys to the game with Rick Horton.
Yeah, a couple quick thoughts for the keys to this game is for Lance Lynn to have a bounce back from a so-so outing his last time out. You don't particularly think that he's going to have 2 bad games in a row. And don't chase Burnett. The curveball out of the zone, the knuckle curve, Dan, that you talked about. Lay off it if you can.
Here's Pedro Alvarez. 18 home runs last year. He has 4 this season. Had a nice conversation with Pedro before the game. And I told you I was going to visit with him, and Rick said, go ask him about struggling in the game of baseball. What did he do a couple of years ago when he, bottom line, this was 3 years ago. He was striking out at a rapid pace, was not putting the ball in play. And he said he has a great group of friends that played at Vanderbilt that are now major leaguers, and all are very, very close. That includes David Price, Flaherty, some of the others that are rather big names in the game. And he said, we probably talk to each other too much. However, that's one way that you stay on top of things and keep it in perspective. He's a really neat guy.
Dan, as I told you, I don't know that I've ever seen a player at the big league level struggle as much as he did a couple of years ago. He'd had a good season the year before, but he was just, he couldn't hit anything. And it was frustrating to watch him, and I felt that mentally, I didn't know how this guy's ever going to get out of it, but he did. And to his credit, he really showed he was mentally tough.
Ground ball hit to Adams. Flips to Lance Lynn for the out. 1-2-3 inning for Lynn. 6 up, 6 down. Bottom of 2 rolls in after this. St. Louis. The Cardinals starting play tonight, 3.5 in front of Pittsburgh, 2.5 in front of Chicago, as we say good evening to Jim Hayes.
Hey, Dan, Carlos Villanueva is the baseball version of duct tape. He's done every job a pitcher can do, and he says it's really the story of his 10-year major league career. Yesterday, he threw 3 2/3 innings of scoreless baseball, got the win in relief of Tim Cooney. He single-handedly stopped the bleeding. Now, come Tuesday, the Cards will need a start from someone, and Carlos hopes it'll be him, but he won't ask for the chance. He told me, quote, "I don't think I have to. Hopefully by now they trust me." Dan, if he doesn't get the start, that's fine with Carlos, too. He's happy doing whatever needs to be done.
Jim, some of the options the Cardinals could have on that start on Tuesday would be potentially Villanueva. Who else are we looking at?
They could go with Tyler Lyons, and if that's the case, you would venture to guess that Villanueva would also factor in. But right now the Cardinals are saying they haven't made a decision on Tuesday's start.
Miguel Sokolovic is in the bullpen right now for the Cardinals, a right-hander. And here is Johnny Peralta, and he swings through strike one. One ball and one strike on Peralta, who's hitting .316 with a pair of home runs. He's driven in 12 this year. The Pirates, in trying to break the 20 consecutive losing seasons, they are one of the teams that has incorporated shifts more than most around Major League Baseball. And in the Central, they shifted the most the last 2 years.
And they also did more shifting with the count than any team.
There's a look at Clint Hurdle. He's in his 5th year as the Pittsburgh manager, fresh off a couple of hip surgeries. Here's a 2-2 pitch.
Jim Edmonds was talking about shifting with the count, Dan, but I think we saw the Pirates do that a year ago, and with infielders they'd have the heavy shift, but then they get behind in the count or ahead in the count, and they would loosen up on it. And I think they're ahead of most teams in that regard.
The 2-2 taken outside.
Pirates are doing that right here. Well, Andrew's telling the left fielder now he's 2 strikes to move on over. Takes them a while to get their attention, but that's some of the things you deal with. Second base, shortstop's talking, center fielder's yelling at the left fielder. A lot of stuff going on out here.
3-2 pitch and a strikeout of Johnny Peralta. Well, Jim, you talked about moving with the pitch. Let's go back to last half inning and the Gold Glover in right field, a good one in Jason Hayward.
Well, I think this is a perfect example. He throws a fastball in right here, and he's late. And they all know now that there's 2 strikes. You can see the whole outfield shifting over towards right field. First it's Matt Hall, or first it's Johnny, then it's Matt, and then Jason slides over, and actually the ball gets hit down the right field line. Sometimes that 5 or 10 feet makes all the difference in an out and a double.
And let's ask you, too, about being a hitter in this spot. Shifts now are such a prominent part of the game. It was starting to become a part of the game at the tail end of your career. How would you deal with, as a hitter, shifts like this?
Yeah, I would try not to think about it. I'm still looking for a pitch up in the zone to drive. I'm hoping if the guy, you know, they're trying to play you to pull, they think you're going to roll over something that's a fastball that's away. I'm trying to hit the ball out of left center field. I mean, I wouldn't change my plan too much. Me being able to run a little bit and not a complete home run hitter, I would throw down a bunt once in a while also. But some of these guys like Matt Adams, they don't want him to bunt. They want him to go ahead and swing the bat.
Here's an 0-2 pitch to Hayward. Missed in. Jason is hitting .217, 2 home runs, and he's driven in 4. Here's a 1-2 pitch.
You could almost see that with Matt Adams the last couple of days, where he's kind of started ignoring the shift a little more, and he's just swinging the bat. And he's finding holes on the left side, right side. Of course, he's been showing some power as well.
The 2-2. Trying to pound Jason Hayward in. A lot of teams have done that. Pitched him in, and also they pitch him up in the zone.
And there's the example of Burnett trying to get Cardinals to chase. He's trying to just tease that strike zone. That's what strikeout pitchers do. They try to expand the zone a little bit, make you chase.
Outside to Hayward. So 2 outs, and it brings in Yadier Molina. 6 is a serious number at On the Run. When the Cardinals score 6, any size drink is just 50 cents the next day. Coffee, fountain, frozen drinks. When they score, you pour at your nearest On the Run. You earned it. Yadier Molina is hitting .246. Hayward a threat to steal at first base. I think before it's all said and done, over the course of 6 months, it is going to be a huge loss for the Pirates not to have Russell Martin back there. Great player.
They miss his leadership. They miss his example. Certainly was a clutch player for them offensively. Very, very good defensive player as well.
Good jump by Hayward, and he's in there safely. Stolen base for Hayward.
And there's some teams in the National League that run more than the Cardinals. So you think about the Pirates having to try to stop the running game of, let's say, the Marlins, or trying to stop Billy Hamilton. And the Cardinals have already shown we're going to run on Cervelli. And John Jay thrown out in the first inning didn't deter him much.
1-1 to Yadier Molina on its way. Breaking ball lifted in the air. Going back a few steps, Gregory Polanco, and he puts it away. We played 2 here at Busch Stadium. On to the 3rd. Beautiful night for baseball. Is brought to you by Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. Quality, reliability, and value. Find a servicing Steel dealer at steeldealers.com or search STIHL. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Isn't that great to see? Mike Shannon is there, Jim Edmonds. Cardinals Hall of Famers will have an exclusive announcement on Fox Sports Midwest with Cardinals President Bill DeWitt in the show for the announcement of 4 new Cardinal Hall of Famers. That'll be Monday at 6 here on Fox Sports Midwest.
And at the risk of sounding like an admiration society, I must tell you, Dan, with all sincerity, you did a great job with that show a year ago. I'm looking forward to that on Monday night. I mean, I think it's going to become a great tradition for this Cardinal baseball family, and certainly the guys that went in last year, very well deserved, including Jimmy, who's with us for this telecast. But I'm looking forward to finding out who those 4 guys are. I think it's going to be, again, what Cardinal fans love. Celebrating Cardinal Bay. Is the Hall of Fame important nationally? Absolutely. But that Cardinals Hall of Fame, I think, is going to just get better and better.
Appreciate it. Thank you. And it's, well, I'll tell you what, there's some big names going in, and one of them very close to your heart. A swing and a miss. Francisco Cervelli. Marty Marion went in last year. Willie McGee. And a strikeout of Cervelli. That's strikeout number 2 for Lance Lynn.
He's always had swing and miss stuff with his fastball. I think certain pitchers will set themselves apart by their ability to do that, to just attack the zone and say, here it is, hit it, and get that late movement, that little jump on the ball, and Lance Lynn certainly has that.
Jordy Mercer, really an afterthought for years in the Pittsburgh system. Awful start a year ago, and then finished up the year with 12 home runs, hit .255, and was a solid player defensively at shortstop.
I think he can be better. I mean, I've seen him good, and then you look at his numbers, and he doesn't always sustain those numbers. But you know, I've seen him play some good shortstop and seen him with the occasional power. I think he's got a chance of being one of the top shortstops in the game. Not there yet.
Out of play. You mentioned the numbers in the last start for Lance Lynn, which was over the weekend in Milwaukee. 6 runs, 6 extra base hits in 5 innings against Milwaukee, which was a concern. To his credit, Lance did not talk about the strike zone. We did.
Right, exactly.
Very inconsistent, very tight.
We predicted he wouldn't, and he didn't, which I thought was great. But that, you know, when you're having trouble with the strike zone, you come over the middle of the plate and you give up extra base hits. That's what happens. You're not getting the corners, whether you should be getting them or not. It doesn't really matter. You end up throwing the ball in the heart of the plate, and hitters love that.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss, and a strikeout for Lynn. 2 in a row, number 3 tonight. Full day of baseball right here on Fox Sports Midwest and Fox Sports 1. First up at 12:30, Cardinals and Pirates. Later, the Angels and Giants, followed by the Reds and Braves. Fox Sports 1 streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Jim Edmonds, you are spending some of your time out in Los Angeles. You get a front row seat to watch Mike Trout. Is there anybody better right now in center field than Mike Trout?
Man, he's pretty special. I haven't seen him play that much this year, but in the last couple of years, it's unbelievable. And getting to know him, getting a chance to talk to him and meet with him, he reminds me of Brian Urlacher playing baseball, but way faster. I've never seen a kid so big with so much talent and run as well as he does. It's scary. If he had a football uniform on, I bet you he'd be like a Bo Jackson.
Here's an 0-2.
Oh.
I think it's safe to say he is the face of Major League Baseball, Mike Trout.
No question. Right now, he's the best player in the game, overall player in the game.
And that swung on and missed as Lynn strikes out the side here in the 3rd. it has been a season changer so far when you think about just what the Cardinals pitching has been able to do. Fewest runs allowed through 21 games since 1914. And all those teams that have been a part of this run, the Cardinals now in 2015, part of that group, have had postseason play.
Cardinals have had a lot of years with good pitching, but to think that this year's up among the best ever says something about Mike Matheny's club. And again, you see all those great finishes with those teams that pitched well. And most baseball people would tell you, if you pitch well and defend well, you win.
That pitch taken low by Colton Wong, who's hitting .297. 1 home run. He's driven in 7. Lance Lynn on deck, and then John Jay. Chop to the right side. Alvarez flips to Burnett, and he makes no. He dropped it. And Wong is aboard. Second play just like that.
The first one was scored as a hit, rightfully so. This one will be an error on A.J. Burnett, and he did everything right except catch the baseball, which matters. There's the play. The scoop, perfect, right in the middle of the glove. And this happened earlier. The ball just off the tip of the glove. He looks down to cover the base and again forgets to secure the baseball.
2 times you take your eye off the ball, it doesn't find its way into the glove, does it?
It sure doesn't. You know, Jim, I always say about you, we can talk about getting good jumps and good routes, but part of being a good outfielder is having good hands too. And I've always said that was another great strength for you. Is that something that you worked on, or is that just a natural ability to have that ball stick in the glove after that long trip into the right center field gap?
I think it was a little bit of both. I actually, in spring training, when everybody else was catching routine pop-ups, I would turn around, catch it behind my head, basket catch, or catch it out to the side, or backhand it. I think sometimes in spring training for an outfielder, that's the last thing that really comes. It's like hitting when you're in spring training and you're hitting. The last thing that comes is pulling the ball. You can foul balls off, hit the ball the other way. When you start turning on pitches, fastballs, you know you're getting your timing and you know you're ready to play. When you're running in the gap after a ball and the ball stops bobbling in your eyes and you can reach out and catch the ball right in the web, you know you're pretty much got your timing going in the outfield too. So it works on both sides of the ball in spring training.
Wong, good jump at first, throw down to second, and out. Cervelli is thrown out 2 of 3. Wong pointing into the dugout. I'm sure he wants to say, let's check it. Let's get a replay. And Mike Matheny has hopped out, looking back, and we'll see if they do want to challenge this.
That young lady and that young man in the first row say he's safe, so I think we should ask them. There's the false jump by Colton Wong, who had a big lead but went anyway. And is he safe? Hand on the bag. Ooh, that's close.
This may be our best look here.
He's out.
I think he is out.
I think a lot of these times these guys are sliding in. They can't feel the tag. There's a lot going on. Your body's hitting the ground. And I played that position like that and slid. Sometimes you just can't feel the tag and you believe you're safe.
Another view. There's the fast tag, too, by Mercer. He didn't waste any time getting that tag down. And kind of a lost art in terms of infield play is how important that tagging ability is. And he did a great job there.
Lance Lynn has swung the bat much better this year than we've seen in years past. He is 2 for 11. And Burnett delivers a ball, 1-2. We've had 2 misplays at the bag at first by A.J. Burnett, and Cervelli's picked him up with 2 caught stealings with John Jay. Colton Wong. There's 2 outs. Well, next time you're looking for great seats, get to StubHub. On StubHub, you can grab Cardinals tickets all season long, even at the last minute. and even if the game is sold out. So get to StubHub today. StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the St. Louis Cardinals.
That error was number 37 in the career of A.J. Burnett, which is the highest of any major league pitcher who is active.
Teams will run against A.J. Burnett. It's been that way his entire career. He's now 38. And first stint with the Pirates was in 12 and 13. He was 26 and 21. Last year, as we mentioned, was with the Phillies. The Phillies wanted him back this year, and he accepted less to go to Pittsburgh. And he's saying that this is more than likely his final season in the big leagues. 1 year, $8.5 million deal. Strike three on the inside corner. Jay strikes out. Cardinals Hall of Famer Jim Hayes and Jim Edmonds. You know, I got to give you trouble, Jim Edmonds, because I know the cat gives you a lot of trouble, so I was going to try to get a rise at it, because I know you're so nervous being on TV tonight, right?
Really nervous. I'm glad the first inning's over.
I bet. Here's Polanco. By the way, Jimmy, since we do have you on this telecast, let's get it out there right now. You would occasionally, let's say, lay up and then dive to make it more dramatic. Is this true?
In spring training to get my hands ready? Are you still talking about that?
Good answer.
Nicely done, Jim Edmonds.
I don't want to interrupt this play right here, but you know, it's funny. I hear that story a lot, but I'll tell you what. If you can run full speed and dive after a ball, and you do that too many times, your body takes a toll on your body, and I don't really think that that's a good idea for anyone. So if anyone's listening right now and they think that that's true, go out there and do that yourself 400 or 500 times in a day and see how it feels.
I bet. We had to give you a little trouble.
I'm okay with it.
I know you and the cat are very close, so, you know, I had to go with the cat in center field, just getting a rise out of you, Jimmy.
The cat's down there in the well, and I'm up here in the fresh air and the nice people.
A base hit by Polanco, and it brings in Josh Harrison, who played second base, third base, left field, right field last year. He barely made their club out of spring training. And then he becomes an all-star and almost won the batting championship. Just signed a long-term extension with the Pirates. Runner was going with the pitch. Foul back, 1-1. We're going to go picture in picture here and isolate John Jay, the Cardinals center fielder, and Jim Edmonds will step away from the play-by-play. You tell me what you're seeing that Jay is doing before every pitch here with Josh Harrison.
Well, I think right now you can see him moving a little bit, but he's standing straight ahead, straight behind the pitcher. So he doesn't know this guy's going to hit the ball pretty much wherever the ball is pitched. So we'll see how Yachty sets up, and you can see Johnny cheat over a little bit because he goes inside. And what I love is, even as the ball's crossing the plate, whether it's swung out or not, he's taking a step in the direction the ball is heading. And that's just something you do. You know, when you don't have blazing speed like I did not have, and I don't think he does, you have to make those little adjustments and those quick steps, and that gets you going in the right direction when you're running full speed a little bit quicker. Here you go. So you see the jump he takes. The ball looks like it's going away from the hitter. And he's got to get moving in that direction with timing in order to get running at top speed as fast as he can.
Jimmy, is it almost like having a trigger defensively? I know hitters have a trigger with their hands or something you might do with your body just to kind of get that swing started. Is that an appropriate word for what an outfielder does, having a trigger?
I think so, and I think he's just getting it's almost like cheating. You're just getting a jump ahead of the ball being put in play. And I think if you can do that and you're successful at it, you're moving before the ball's hit. And sometimes you do it, sometimes not.
4-6-3 on the double play. Jim, another question. This may be an obvious answer to you and to many around the game, but for those at home that wonder, can a center fielder look in and get a sign from a catcher? Can you read the signs from all the way out there in center field?
All day long. That's how we played the game. I think that you sometimes can't see exactly what's put down, but you can tell the difference between a fastball and a breaking ball, and sometimes that's all you need. You need to see one finger or three, and that's it. And then you get location on top of that, and you have a pretty good idea of what's going on.
So, Jimmy, even with runners in scoring position, if a pitcher and catcher change a sign, we often see infielders come in to make sure that they know what those new signs are. Is that something you would ask them between innings, just in case they again switch signs? You want to be able to get that jump.
For sure. It's one of those things that actually we talk about all the time. You can see Johnny moving over now with a two-strike situation. It's something with Mike that we had that if it was a simple set of signs, first sign, second sign, or third sign, he would give me an indication when they changed the signs and what they went to.
Strikeout of the former MVP McCutchen. 5 strikeouts for Lance Lynn. Good stuff with Jim Edmonds on John. Lewis, Jim Hayes, Jim Edmonds, Rick Horton, Dan McLaughlin with you. Just joining us, we have the Cardinals' outstanding Hall of Famer, Gold Glover, Jim Edmonds out in center field. Rick with me here in the booth. Love the drink run with any size, any flavor McCafe shake for just $1.99 at McDonald's. Look at Big Mac Land here at the ballpark. And it's Carpenter, Holiday, and Adams for St. Louis. First pitch, a strike.
I don't know about the rest of my partners here today, Jim, and Dan, but I can tell you I love well-pitched games. And that's what we've got so far, a 0-0 game. My kind of game. I think it lends itself to a lot of strategy and a lot of, do you run? Do you keep running on Cervelli? Do you start trying to bunt guys over? Do you think about hitting runs? And how do you scratch your run across so you can give your bullpen a chance to close it out?
Spoken like a true pitcher.
There you go.
Thank you, Jim Edmonds. I got to listen to this all year.
There, I was reading something, I don't know if it was like last week or it's been every day for the last 2 months, about trying to get offense back in the game. And here you are, loving a pitcher's role.
That's right. Hey, you can't please everybody.
Hey, Jimmy, what do you see out of Matt Carpenter? Why is he one of the best hitters and I think the MVP of the first month of the National League?
You know what? He's very still. He doesn't do too much with his body. He looks like he knows exactly what he wants to do, and that's very hard to do day in and day out. And he's got a nice short swing. He's not hitting for power, or he's not swinging for power. He's trying to hit the ball in the nose every time. He really doesn't waste any movement. He's nice and easy, and it allows him to track the ball longer than most people.
Lets it get deep. So you're talking about, a guy that then, because of that, Jimmy, hits better with 2 strikes than most.
And he's not afraid to, and he lets the ball travel just a little bit longer, and he can recognize the pitch a little bit longer. And the key to it really is to be able to take balls and swing at strikes, to be honest with you.
Just like that.
Exactly. If you're swinging at balls, then you're always behind the count, and then you get a little nervous, and it really creates just a lot of false stuff in your head, and it really just makes it hard on you mentally. You just don't know what you're looking for.
From 60 feet 6 inches away, you can always tell when a hitter looks lost. And Matt Carpenter, who's featured in our promo here, never looks lost. The Matt Carpenter batting practice jersey, Saturday, May 2nd. Go to cardinals.com/promotions. Nice looking batting practice jersey.
That'll be tomorrow. Here's Matt Holliday. Carpenter faked going to second, and Holiday may have been fooled on that pitch for strike 1.
So all you guys that love offense, here we go. You got a runner on first base. You've got a catcher who everybody is testing right now. You've got a pitcher who's, you mentioned, sometimes slow to the plate, but yet today you're just 1 for 3 running. Holiday hits the ball the other way. Hit and run candidate perhaps. Or do you let him just drive the ball?
And a check on Matt Carpenter. A.J. Burnett, 6'4", 230 pounds, from North Little Rock, Arkansas. That's Cardinals country, located across the Arkansas River in the central part of the state. And of interest, there's Dickey Stevens Park, which is the home to the Arkansas Travelers. And they're playing host to Springfield tonight. Tough play, Harrison, and the pick at first by Alvarez. What a great play all the way around. Harrison, the everyday third baseman, to the former third baseman, Alvarez, who's now at first.
Well, Harrison thanking his first baseman because the throw is low, but he did a great job of getting rid of that ball in a hurry. There's the bang-bang play at first base. You got to barehand it, and you throw it from down low. You can't come back up and release it. You won't have enough time to get the ball across the diamond. Nice play, as you said, all the way around.
Pedro Alvarez had a major league leading 25 errors a year ago, and it was mostly on the routine play. So they moved him across the diamond. The emergence of Harrison, he now plays third, and here is Matt Adams. And Matt coming off a big series against the Phillies. He was 8 for 16 with 6 RBIs.
So you talked about the Pirates shifting, and Matt Adams has seen an awful lot of those. Again, lately he's been beating the shift and just hammering the baseball. And the Pirates, will see if they switch where they are now with Matt Adams. They're starting out with Neil Walker in shallow right field, the very deep second base position. The shortstop, Mercer, just slightly on the shortstop side of the second base bag. But again, we'll see if they change with the count as they did often a year ago.
This is the ideal situation for Matt because there's a guy on second base. They can't move too much. They got to cover second to peel the pick without him getting a big jump stealing third, and the third baseman has to stay close to the bag. So he's almost got a fair playing field up for this in one at bat today.
Outfield is straight away and deep. The 1-1 pitch to Matt Adams. Pulled foul. Jimmy, you were a guy that liked to play a shallow center field. Why did you like to do that as opposed to watching a guy like McCutchen who runs so well, but he plays so deep?
When I was with the Angels organization, Bobby Knopp, he told me, why do I want to take away the mistakes by the pitcher? Why don't I want to catch all the good pitches that were blooped into center field? And he basically trained me how to read that situation and to go get those balls. And he thought that if I had a good enough jump that I would run down the balls that were lofted over my head, and if they're hit any harder, they were homers.
Boy, psychologically, that's so true from the point of view of the pitcher. If you give up a ball that's smoked over the center fielder's head, you're standing there saying, my fault. I mean, I got to make a better pitch. But if you give up one of those bloops to center, and as it's hit, you say, oh, that's an out, and it drops, that can be very frustrating.
Can't tell you how many times I came to the dugout with La Russa yelling at me, and the pitcher standing behind him saying, my fault, my fault.
Yeah, Tony did like you to play a little deeper. I can remember times where he would try to push you back, and he wasn't always successful, was he?
Well, you know what? No, not really. But as I got older, I guess he was trying to push me back a little bit. But I'll tell you what, in this ballpark, when we changed ballparks, this ballpark's a lot bigger and a lot tougher to play defense in. And I think he, instead of telling me, he just slowly tried to push me back. And I had to figure it out on my own.
Hit to the right side. On the outfield grass, it's Neil Walker. Advancing from second to third, it's Matt Carpenter. So once again, who are the latest legends that will join Jim Edmonds in the Cardinals Hall of Fame? Find out on Monday. An exclusive announcement and half-hour show. That'll be at 6, right before our pregame show at 6:30. Cardinals president Bill DeWitt will make the announcements of 4 added to the Cardinals Hall of Fame. That's this Monday at 6, exclusively on Fox Sports Midwest.
And you said somebody dear to my heart, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
That's all you're going to tell me?
That's all I'm telling you. You loved everybody, so
well,
it's
how
going to
do you
be
know
hard
there's
for
not
you.
4 of them that are dear to my heart?
Well, could be. Could be. Nice play by Cervelli to keep that in front.
Saved a run.
Two outs and a count of 1 ball and no strikes. Peralta struck out his first time up looking. A.J. Burnett has struck out 4. You know, you watch A.J. Burnett in this game and then you look at his numbers and what he's done. No wins this year. Second best ERA in the National League coming into play today. Willie Peralta did start against Chicago for Milwaukee. He has the best ERA. He's only received 4 runs of support in 4 games. That's it.
This should be a better Pirate offense, and it will be before the year is over.
Here's a 1-1. Very much an important part of the Pirates' turnaround, helping them to the postseason for the first time in 2 decades. They said he was very much a leader of that team. Here's a 2-1 pitch. Now 2-2.
Talked about trying to chase that curveball. There it is. Out of the zone. He was ahead in the count. Red fastball. But it wasn't a fastball. It was a breaker.
Outfield is straight away, and here's a 2-2 pitch to Johnny Peralta. Strikeout number 5 for A.J. Burnett, the 38-year-old. Cardinals against the Pittsburgh Pirates. They've won 8 of the last 10 here at Busch Stadium. As a matter of fact, they've won 13 of the past 16. As Neil Walker takes a pitch high, and we're underway here in the 5th.
Dan, we talked earlier about how many games the Cardinals have against the Pirates in the month of May. They have a series in Pittsburgh next week, but they also play some other pretty tough teams this month. They have a 3-game set with Detroit, and then that's followed by 4 games against the Mets, and then a weekend series against the Kansas City Royals. So you talk about playing some of the best teams in baseball, at least in the National League here in this month, and you're going to close out with the Dodgers.
Walker is 0 for 2. So breaking it down even further, last year the home team in the 19 games was the predominant winner in the series.
How about the bullpen ERA differences? When you're at home, the bullpen ERA very, very low, and on the road not so much. And really the Pirates, I think, have had a terrific bullpen for the last 5 or 6 years. They've really done some work with their pitching staff. Ray Searage gets a lot of the credit for that, and deservedly so. And that's why I think the Pirates will be in this. And some people think maybe losing Russell Martin's too much, but I think their pitching's too good for them not to be in it.
Cardinals catch a break, at least in this initial series, not seeing Garrett Cole. We were talking to some scouts this past week watching the Cardinals and Phillies. 2 scouts told us he is the best right now in baseball. In baseball, not just the National League. There's Garrett Cole, former UCLA product.
Well, you're going to get some other pitchers mentioned in that conversation, but I'd like to have Garrett Cole. And who wouldn't? Find a spot for him, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah. I could take 98 in the 8th and 9th inning, which is what he's done this year. 0-2 on Marte. Chevy Foxtrax.
This is a breaking ball that's not a good pitch, but a good result. The late break up in the zone. Marte wasn't sure if that was going to be a strike or not, and it was a weak swing at it, as it was on that fastball up and away. Good complementary pitches.
Something's wrong with Marte. He did not look comfortable on those 2 swings, especially the last one, and he tried to bunt. And I'm wondering if there's an issue with his hand.
Maybe his thumb.
Yeah, sure enough, there he started to shake it.
He's got that thumb guard with him, and maybe that's the problem.
Budweiser Bash is coming up, and Jack Clark will be here on Tuesday. For a full schedule of players or to purchase, visit Cardinals.com/BudBash.
I get asked an awful lot about that thumb guard, and I don't think I remember Jimmy ever using it, but players in the 80s started using that. Tom Herr actually was investing in that company that started those thumb guards, where you could kind of get that little extra cushion so you wouldn't feel that vibration of the bat if you got jammed. Now, Jim Edmonds never got jammed, so he probably didn't need one.
Oh, yeah?
I got jammed a lot, but I hit more off the end of the bat. And Danny, you're right. He was shaking his hand, so he doesn't look like he's 100%.
Yeah, and here's a guy that is leading their team in home runs, so he could put you on top with one swing of the bat. Now, he does have good speed. It's only one hit aside, but trying to bunt his way on, and maybe that's an indication that the hand is not quite right. So it's 2 balls and 1 strike on Pedro Alvarez. Got to be careful here with Pedro Alvarez. 18 home runs, down from a National League leading 36 in 2013.
And of those 18 home runs, it felt like 18 of them were against the Cardinals, because he's been such a Cardinal killer.
The 2-2. Pedro was born in the Dominican. As a kid, his family looked for a better life. They moved to New York, grew up in the area that Manny Ramirez was a part of, and people referred to him as a kid as the next Manny Ramirez when Manny was doing his thing. Off-speed pitch, and he struck him out. 7 strikeouts through 5 innings for Lance Lynn. No place you'd rather be. Beautiful night for baseball. They call it baseball heaven here in St. Louis. Best winning percentage. Kia in the driver's seat. 7th time since 1900. Cardinals did that in the month of April. And since 2013 overall, the Cardinals have been one of the best in baseball. With strike two, Jason Hayward underway here in the bottom of the 5th.
Hey, Ricky, I'm watching from out here, and it seems to me that both of these guys are doing a pretty good job of throwing the ball in the inner half of the plate, especially to the lefties. I think that is why they are being so successful with the breaking ball, and they're getting guys to cheat a little bit.
100% agree with you. And Burnett's doing it. He worked Carpenter inside. We saw Lance Lynn do it last inning, pound that ball in the inside half. It just makes the plate look wider, doesn't it?
No, it speeds you up a little bit, and obviously when you start cheating a little bit, then you can't stay back on the breaking ball, and it's something that AJ didn't do in the past. That's why I've been watching this whole game, and his tendency before when I was playing was to overthrow. The ball would run up and away on his arm side, and he's been doing a really good job of throwing the ball down and in, going down and in, and here again, and really hitting his spots.
Alvarez was near the line anyway, steps on the bag for the out, one away. Now they're going to say it was a foul ball. It's been an interesting career for A.J. Burnett. Began with, at the time, the Florida Marlins. 8th round in 1995, drafted by the Mets. He was part of the Al Leiter deal. And then the Yankees traded to Pittsburgh, free agent with the Phillies. Again back with Pittsburgh. 1-2 pitch. Hit sharply to second base, and Neil Walker is there for the out.
I think Jim made such a great point, and we often talk about pitching inside for the reasons of maybe giving the guy a different eye angle at looking at a baseball. But when he talks about speeding up the bat, if the ball's inside, Dan, you've got to be quick to get to it. So you tend to jump at that. You tend to try to be quick. Now you throw him something slow away. You've quickened up his response as a hitter, and that slow stuff away, now he's way out in front of it. And that's part of the art of pitching, but it's also understanding what the hitter's trying to do.
The speed of the game from that angle, just watching that baseball. Jimmy, how much of a guess hitter were you because of the speed of the game or just your baseball intellect? I've always said you're one of the smartest players we've ever had here.
I try not to guess. I try to. You try to look fastball at every pitch. It's just your body is just a machine, and as far as hitting, where everything kind of just goes. It's all timing. Your body's moving everything until your eyes tell you what to swing and not when to swing and what to swing at, or you don't swing, and it's kind of just not even a thought. It just happens, and you try not to guess. You want to be just on time with your body, and hopefully the ball's over the plate. But like I said, when guys pound you in, when the fastball is established inside, you have to speed up a little bit, and then you start to cheat, and then you're done. Everything else, I think it really just changes your eyesight, causes you to just lose focus, and that's when you start to struggle as a hitter.
2-1 pitch. I thought back in 2006, Jeff Suppan picked up the NLCS MVP, but if you look at the numbers for Yadier Molina, it was kind of a coming out party for him offensively. He had the big hit against the Mets in Game 7, and ever since then he has been a top hitting catcher in the league, and he lines this into right. Did you feel the same way, Jimmy? That was kind of his coming out party?
Yeah, I think that showed him that he could do it. And I think when you do it on that stage, you could do it anywhere. And once you start doing it in the playoffs, this stuff it's not easy, but it's a lot less pressure, and you just got to learn how to go out there and do it night in and night out. And sometimes it does. It's your coming out party in the playoffs, and then you get established during the season, and the rest is history.
Such a smart, incredibly cerebral baseball player, Yadier Molina.
Learned from one of the best too, the guy in the dugout next to him.
Sliding attempt, and Harrison almost came up with a terrific play.
Well, he actually called off Cervelli, and Cervelli was almost camped under that ball. I'm not sure Harrison realized how good a shot Cervelli had at making this play, but he's already calling for it. Harrison calls him off, so he stops, backs up, and it was actually a tougher play for Josh Harrison. There's a break. Now you got to make it hurt. There's that fastball in Jimmy was talking about to try to speed up the bat of Kolten Wong. Hitters don't want to get jammed, so he's got the quick hands. We'll see if he goes soft stuff away.
And even if he throws that slider down and in, or even that breaking ball down and in, you're already cheating. So you're trying to speed up. Here, probably right here.
Here's an 0-2. One to go in again with Kolten Wong.
It was that breaking ball again. If your hands are too fast there, you just swing over the top of that pitch and you can't wait for it.
Short lead at first by Yadier Molina, and a 1-2 pitch to Kolten Wong. Inside again. Backed him off the plate. 2-2. Wong reached on an error his first time and then was caught stealing. Cervelli has caught 2 of 3 base runners tonight. A 2-2.
We just had that look of all the outfielders. There's 3 very good outfielders here for the Pirates. And you throw in what John Jay's done for the Cardinals side. Of course, Jason Hayward, a Gold Glover. It's just a treat to have Jim Edmonds with us today, trying to get inside the head. And look at the eyes of Andrew McCutchen.
2-2, fouled back again.
You know, we talked earlier about Carpenter, about Matt Carpenter being so successful. Ricky, he seems like that guy that never gets flustered by the inside pitch. He doesn't ever speed up. He doesn't ever change his approach, and I think he knows that he can get to that ball if he needs to.
And pitchers can tell when somebody is overreacting or underreacting to what you're trying to do to them. And pitchers try to take advantage of that. But with Matt Carpenter, you're never quite sure where to go.
Good at bat here by Wong. Count runs to 3-2. Three-two pitch. Molina not running, taken for a ball. Good at bat.
Been an interesting day for A.J. Burnett with his glove. He's pitched extraordinarily well. He's allowed just 2 hits, but he's boxed a couple of balls. This one covering first base. Whoops. That one covering first base. And this one on a throwback from the umpire. So a nice little trifecta of drops for A.J. Burnett.
You can make a case that Burnett has enjoyed his best success with the Pirates. You see what he's done there. We talked about his 2 years with Pittsburgh previous. While with the Marlins, you may recall in 2001, he did throw a no-hitter against San Diego. And this may sum up his career. A no-hitter with 9 walks and 7 strikeouts.
I was going to say that earlier. He's one of those guys as a player. He's got electric stuff, but he always seemed to get himself behind in the count.
Lynn drops down the bunt, rolling foul. At that time, it was just the third of what now is 5 no-hitters in Marlins history. Al Leiter, Kevin Brown, then Burnett, Anibal Sanchez, Henderson Alvarez. And ironically enough, against San Diego, the only team right now in the major leagues that has never thrown a no-hitter. Used to be with the Mets until
Santana.
Johan Santana.
We were there.
Against the St. Louis Cardinals. Here's an 0-1.
It was Beltran, was it not, that hit the ball down the left field line that was clearly fair?
It was, and Burnett, Beltran, Bronson Arroyo, Joe Nathan, who is hurt but still active, Will Nieves, the only players left active from the 1995 draft, of which Burnett was an 8th round pick. Lynn pushes it foul. Not sure he could pick it up, but he's a little frustrated.
And
And thanks to Janet Jackson, when you hear things like that, we have to apologize to the viewing audience.
It's what we do.
So strikeout number 6, and it brings in John Jay.
Maybe a good time to mention it's Fellowship of Christian Athletes Day.
Great segue.
At the ballpark. There's 1,300 kids here who I'm sure never did not hear what Lance Lynn said. And they had a chance to hear from Mark Reynolds down the right field line prior to the game. He did a terrific job of talking to the young athletes and coaches celebrating 50 years of service in the St. Louis community.
I'm not sure if that's the best or the worst ever segue. A little bit of both.
Tied for both.
What's on tap? The Pirates and the Cardinals. Good matchup. Liriano and Lackey. Recording alongside here in the booth, we have Jim Hayes. Also, Jim Edmonds out in center field. Jimmy, you enjoying this first and foremost?
I am, and I just figured out that I'm glad I didn't have to do tomorrow's game in the sun out here out in center field. The sun is great when you're in the uniform, not when you're in the suit.
You know, you mentioned this ballpark is different in the fact that it's bigger than Busch Stadium, too. Was it harder to play at this ballpark as opposed to the previous Busch Stadium?
Yeah, it's just bigger in the gaps. You know, it's one of those things that, as an outfielder, you get used to running into certain gaps and knowing how far it is, and then all of a sudden you go to an area that it's just you can't really get to the same ball that you thought you could get to. And it's frustrating because it's a double, even though it used to be a home run.
Hit into left center. John Jay over to cut it off. Playing Cervelli opposite way. And Jay had to go get that. And that's only hit number 2 for the Pirates so far.
And far and away the hardest ball hit off of Lance Lynn. In fact, not many balls squared up at all against Lance today. Check out the pitch location. It's up and away. And managed to get on top of it. Square it up.
Jordy Mercer struck out back in the 3rd. Lynn has struck out 7. Ground ball past the diving Carpenter. Holiday near the sidewall. Will they wave him in? No. They'll hold up Cervelli at 3rd. So a double for Jordy Mercer. Runners at 2nd and 3rd for the pitcher, A.J. Burnett.
Well, Matt Carpenter makes a great effort, but it's past him into the corner. He's off the bag, and there's Cervelli, and the pitcher's coming up. So you have a question: do you be aggressive here and try to send him? A little misstep there at the 3rd base bag. Holiday got it quickly enough in left field. And again, you've got 2nd and 3rd now with Burnett at the plate, who's not been a very accomplished hitter in his career. So Lance Lynn still with some hope of getting out of this. Cardinals infield in.
On deck, you have Polanco. Burnett struck out swinging. back in the third. Outfield is shallow. The 1-0 pitch. Up the middle. Base hit. One run is in. Here comes Mercer. Now they'll hold him up at third.
And because the outfield is shallow, because Burnett was at the plate, no chance of scoring two. John Jay was on that ball in a hurry.
Rick, that's the other reason why you play shallow. You want to cut those runs down the best you can, too.
John Jay in the picture there, Jim. He is on this ball and charged it. You probably had the best view of anybody. And so if you're the runner at second base, Mercer runs well enough to score here, but no chance. John Jay's got the ball already.
And that ball's not hit very hard either. And that's another part of the game that I used to love. I used to love getting a chance to throw runners out, third and home plate. Anytime you can shut somebody down, keep them from scoring a run, you got to feel good about yourself as a player.
Gregory Polanco hold the runner at first. Third baseman in. Strike to Polanco. Single to center. Also struck out. He's 1 for 2. 89 games last year. He was considered their top prospect. Hit .235. One ball, one strike. I don't know about you, Rick. When I see Polanco, it's hard for me not to think of Oscar Taveras.
I think of them. I do, too. Honestly, every time I see him play or read about him, I mean, I just think, because he and Oscar were mentioned so often as the next superstars of the National League.
Yeah. Polanco burst on the scene. 11-game hitting streak to start his major league career. Most ever for a Pirate to start their career, their long history. But you heard about Taveras and Polanco. Polanco, Taveras. Here's a 1-2. After we see what Polanco does, we'll go back to the previous play and a base hit to center, and Jim Edmonds will talk about the role of the cutoff man, but also how to step and throw, the crow hop, if you will, fielding that baseball in center field as well. The 2-2 inside.
You know, it's funny you say that. We talk about throwing runners out, but the art of really stopping a guy from scoring is really just charging the ball as hard as you can and having the ability to really go after the ball. And that stops guys dead in their tracks.
The 3-2 pitch to Polanco. Bases loaded. Let's take a look at it here, Jim Edmonds. What do you see?
Well, like I said, he was playing shallow. This ball's not hit very hard, but he's doing a good job of running hard here. And I think he knows whether he's going to throw that ball or not. He's going to come hard and hope that he stops him. And then you can see just, I mean, when you come up to throw that ball, you're looking at third base. You really don't need anybody to tell you where to throw it. You can kind of see out of the corner of your eye. You can either see the runner or you can see the third base coach. And when you play this game long enough, you can pick up that third base coach at the same time as you're crow hopping and throwing, and you know that you can shut it down or you just keep going with your throw.
Jimmy, what are you thinking here? You've got A.J. Burnett, the runner at second base. If it's hit to you in center, Jay is now back. Take me through the mindset of before the pitch. What are you thinking?
Well, I'm hoping for a ground ball, but I know that the guy on second base doesn't run as well. So, you know, he's backed up a little bit. He's kind of playing straight away. Right now he's just going to read location and try to get a good jump on the ball. And if it's hit to him, he knows he has a good chance to cut the guy out, cut him off at home, especially the pitcher. But you also got to keep the double play in order and be careful, the guy going first to third. So there's a lot going on right now other than just the guys trying to score. There's, you know, I was on a meeting one time at the mound playing first base, actually, and there was a bases loaded, nobody out. The pitching coach came out and told him, okay, this guy at third, he's probably going to score. Let's concentrate on the guy at second not scoring and the guy at first not scoring. So let's concentrate on getting a ground ball and getting through this inning.
0-2 pitch. Hit out of play.
Ricky, I don't know if that's ever been brought up to you in a situation like that, but I thought that was pretty impressive. And I was a kid playing first base one day, and that was the story that I was listening to on the mound. And I'm thinking to myself, are we really going to let this guy score?
No, I like that thought, though. I think sometimes that depressurizes what the pitcher is doing on the mound, where you can kind of give in. You're not giving up, but you're just saying, look, I just need to make a good pitch here. I don't need to overthrow and necessarily get a strikeout, because a lot of times you make the situation worse. So they're saying, okay, let's just get a ground ball here for run scores. That's fine. Just don't let 3 score.
Exactly.
Lynn would love the strikeout. The 0-2 and on the hands of Harrison.
Key situation for Lance Lynn not to get a big number on the board and get out of this. He's ahead of Harrison, and now he needs to put him away.
Lynn has struck out 7. 3 consecutive hits, though, to start this inning, and a walk. 1-0 Pittsburgh and a chance to do some damage. 0-2 pitch, wouldn't chase.
I'd be interested as this game goes on. We talk a lot about pitcher-catcher communication, but maybe we can look for the next few innings of this game opportunities where outfielders are communicating, and see if Jimmy has some thoughts on that.
Yeah, I've been watching these guys all night. They're looking back and forth, right and left. Well, Johnny and McCutcheon are right and left every pitch. I mean, you'd be surprised at how much is going on out here.
1-2. Just missed. 2-2. Way that Burnett is going. This next pitch, one of the biggest pitches potentially in this game. 2-2. Bases loaded. And Harrison trying to do some damage, hitting just .207 this year. John Jay slightly into right center. Not much. Big gap left center. The 2-2. We'll do it again. Coming up, it'll be the 10th pitch of this at bat. A.J. Burnett with an RBI to give the Bucks a lead. His 4th RBI against the Cardinals, most against any opponent in his long history in the big leagues.
It's hard to throw 10 pitches to one batter without making a mistake. That's the problem. And when you've got a hitter that can foul off balls like that, and hitters are, boy, they're trained to look for that mistake. Lance Lynn has to focus right now and make sure he does not make that mistake in this key situation in the game.
And Rick, we've seen him go in on the hands of Harrison,
right,
trying to tie him up. He's trying to get him to chase on the slider, middle half away. What are you coming up with here on 2-2?
Well, I think you can go either way, and I think Yachty and Colton Wong trying to make sure it's the way he wants to go. I thought Tim McCarver said something terrific in the game yesterday when he was talking about a young pitcher. What his advice is to a young pitcher is pitch your game, shake me off if you need to, because you know you better than I know you. And I think that's always true, even if it's Yachty or Molina behind the plate.
I think that's why Yachty went to the mound.
Yep.
Here it is, the 2-2. So now bases loaded, nobody out, 3-2 the count. Jay now moving slightly to his right and almost straight up in center field. The 3-2 pitch popped up. Lynn will win the battle. Infield fly as Adams makes the catch for a key first out. Mentioned this earlier, the BJC Healthcare difference maker, what the Cardinals have done against McCutchen. This is since 2013. 246 against McCutchen. Some believe last year was a better season than his MVP year. Led the major leagues in on-base percentage at .410, and the first Pirate to do that since Barry Bonds back in 1992. At .314, 25 home runs, 18 steals, great defense in center, terrific player. There's Seth Maness getting loose. McCutchen, though, is off to a slow start. Recorded hit number 1,000 on Wednesday night of his career. And he's coming off his worst month since September of 2011 when he hit just 171. .1-0 pitch.
He's such a good hitter. He's going to get the numbers. And what you like about McCutchen, if you're a Pirate fan, is his power. We talked a lot about Randal Grichuk coming out of spring training. For not a real big guy, he has tremendous plate coverage, short stroke, and a lot of power. That's what Andrew McCutchen has in a more refined state.
Yeah, I've been trying to think who Grichuk reminds me of, and I'm not saying he's Andrew McCutchen.
No.
But the body type and the power, yes. It's a good point. Short, compact, powerful. The 2-1.
Low hands, slight crouch. Grichuk's a little more open. And again, McCutchen a lot more accomplished. We're not comparing the two, but something to think about in terms of the style, at least.
Yes. 3-1 on Andrew McCutchen, who is 0 for 2 tonight. 3-2.
The 3-1 pitch, perfectly located, and I'll say it about the third time this inning. Big pitch for Lance Lynn, and I may not be done saying it.
3-2. Yes, got him on the inside corner. Strikes out McCutchen. Oh, how big is that?
We talked about Lance Lynn not getting the corners in his last start, and he got that one.
Even though the Pirates have scored in this inning, it still could be a transitional point in this game with the bases loaded, heart of the lineup coming up if he can get out of this. 2 outs, bases loaded, Neil Walker. And Walker hits a high fly ball down the right field line and foul.
Well, Dan, the difference between giving up 1 run and giving up 3 or 4 or 5, you could almost say Lance Lynn could lose this game right now. He can't win it, but he can give his team a chance to win it, but he can lose it. So the downside is big when you're talking about the job that A.J. Burnett is doing, and as good as the Pirates bullpen can be 7, 8, 9.
Here's the 0-1 to Walker. 1 ball and 1 strike. Cardinals will have Carpenter, Holiday, Adams due up home half of the 6th. Pitch count at 91 for Lynn.
This inning's got to be taking a lot out of him right now.
You bet.
Mm-hmm.
Not all pitches, Rick Horton, I think it follows the point of Jim Edmonds, are created equal. This is a grind right here.
Yeah, it's one of the problems with pitch counts.
Yeah.
The 31 pitches that he's thrown here in this 6th inning definitely take wear and tear on the arm and the body, but it sure does help when you've got 40,000 people standing up cheering you on.
The crowd will tell you the story. Job by Lance Lynn to pitch out of trouble with the bases loaded and nobody out. The Hyundai pitch arsenal.
We're going to take a look at his 3 pitches where he's been successful. There's a fastball down in the zone. Got good movement, explosive. Little short breaking ball in the outside corner. That got McCutchen. Then the bigger curveball, a strikeout of Alvarez. 9 strikeouts for Lance Lynn already, but none bigger than McCutchen and Walker with the bases loaded.
Manis has a seat. We may see another inning from Lance Lynn.
Always felt that it was important when you got your strikeouts, not how many you got. You think about when the situation calls for the ability to put a hitter away, that's when strikeouts become king. 2 outs, nobody on, not as big a deal.
Matt Carpenter hit down the right field line and pulled foul. Going back to the point that you made about pitch counts, you can look at pitch counts, and somebody that's sailing through a game and doesn't have a runner in scoring position and gets to 110 pitches, and you say, no big deal. You could have 110 pitches from another guy, and Lance Lynn just had a taxing inning where he's dealing with runners on, and you're saying, now that was a grind. And his day's through.
And a lot of pitching coaches along the way say that if you got in trouble a 3rd time in a game, you're out. And the Cardinal minor league system was taught to do that. The pitching coaches, the first jam, okay, we'll see what you do. Second jam, maybe. 3rd jam, you're out, because of the reality of those pitch counts taxing your arm, and you just figure, boy, you're getting 3 jams, you're liable not to get out of all of them.
Pulled foul. 1-2 on Matt Carpenter. The 9 strikeouts, by the way, for Lance Lynn. That ties his season high, which was 9. His first start at Wrigley Field this year.
Ricky, is that kind of like 3 strikes and you're out?
That's exactly right. Good symmetry.
Wonder where he got that from.
Jimmy's on it.
He's on it. 2 of the best analysts in the game right now. 3 strikes and you're out.
You got to be simple with pitchers, you know.
2-2 the count. Then we'll see Matt Holliday and Matt Adams.
You know, Jim, I wanted to ask you about vision, and there's your bird's eye view of the outfield, and you talked about vision a little bit. Do you think, I've been kind of coming to the conclusion that vision is underrated for a defensive player as well as for a hitter, and maybe Carpenter's got good vision?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I definitely think that you have to have at least 20/20 vision. You know, I was 20/10 for a long time, and I know a lot of guys wear contacts, and I would imagine the better vision you have, the more you see spin on the ball, and the more you can react to things. And like I said, it's just one more of those things that you can chalk up to something that makes you better at this game.
Ouch.
And I've always thought that that's part of the reason it's harder to hit when you get older. It's not just your reaction, but we all know what happens to our eyesight.
Well, yeah, and you know, it's funny, the last couple of years that I played, they start doing these different tests to you, too. They start reading kind of your depth perception and how fast you can track things. I don't know how they do it, but they do it, and they tell you you're starting to track things at a slower rate than you should be. And I found that kind of interesting towards the end of my career.
There's a very interesting article a few years ago about the vision of Albert Pujols. It was extraordinary. I remember Carlos Beltran used to track tennis balls at 110 miles an hour that had big numbers on them, but try to read the numbers all the way in. I mean, think about that, training your eye.
I do believe that down the road, that's going to be the next high-level performance training methodology that's going to come into the game of baseball. I think, and maybe a lot of sports, but particularly baseball, hand-eye coordination, so important to this game.
Well, eye training, you're right. That's been going on for years. Since I was young in Anaheim, they would spit tennis balls with red and blue dots, and they wanted you to tell what color the dots were.
3-2, hit right side. Alvarez, what a play. Throws behind Burnett. And Carpenter has to get back to the bag, and he's in there safely. The rule is this. If you run through the bag at first base, you stay in foul territory, come back to the bag, you're all right. But the minute that you start making the effort, the idea that you would go to second base, you could be tagged out. And that could have been the case here with Carpenter.
Well, it could have been, and it was. There's no question he's headed towards second base. And why is Burnett not tagging out Carpenter? He's got the ball and was not really aware of what Carpenter was doing, sliding in behind him. And I don't know whether, we talk about communication, defensive communication. He could not see Carpenter behind him. Somebody's got to be yelling, tag it.
Give a lot of credit to Cervelli, too. I mean, on that play, what are the chances of the catcher moving over to back up that throw?
Right.
I mean, Carpenter, everyone on the field thinks Carpenter's going straight to second base.
There's the backhanded play. There's the wild flip. Yeah, Carpenter definitely committed to second base. Got the ball, no tag.
Now it's Holliday. Carpenter, the runner at first base. Jimmy, I'm curious. Matt Holliday has been one of the top hitters for the last decade. When he was with Colorado, where did you play him defensively? Because he can hit for power left center or right center.
You know what? I haven't watched him as closely lately as I had in the past, but we played him deep into right center field as he stays inside the ball as good as anyone. Just like that. But like I said about Bobby Knopp, told me a story when I was a kid, and he said, "Where are you going to play Frank Thomas tonight?" And I said, "I'm going to play him deep in left center." He said, "Why left center?" And I said, "I don't know. It's where I think he's going to hit the ball." He says, "Well, if he hits a fly ball to left center, don't you think it's going to be a home run?" And I go, "I guess." And he goes, "Can you catch a home run?" I said, "Nope." He said, "Go stand." He said, "Go stand in right center when he's hitting, please." That's how he taught me.
It makes all the sense in the world, too.
You know, that's a
really
classic.
does.
It's a classic coach's conversation with a young player. Now, can you catch a home run?
Little did he know.
Yeah, he did.
Well, you did a few of
yes,
those.
He
You're
did,
right.
exactly.
Wait a minute.
I said, "Wait." I would have told him yes nowadays.
Just watch me, Bobby Knopp.
That's right.
Old school thinking. I loved it.
And again, you see Holliday potentially trying to go to right there. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Holliday instead of check on Carpenter. Jimmy, is this your greatest catch you ever made?
That's a pretty good one. But you know the story behind the reaction and me and Isringhausen. So I think the one in Kansas City was pretty awesome too. And obviously the one in the playoffs in 04. So those 3 are obviously at the top of my list.
So much fun. Here's a 1-2.
You're telling me.
He's got 3 career catches to pick from. Which one's the best?
And the one in
nice.
Kansas City was his back to the infield, diving, sprawled out, shows the ball. We showed the earlier catch to Rob Brad Osmus in Game 7 of the 2004 NLCS, and that one in Cincinnati. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Check swing, and he went. Strikeout. 7 strikeouts for A.J. Burnett. Pirates are here this Sunday. It's an ice cream Sunday. Kids can head out to the Ford Plaza. Games, prizes, free North Star ice cream treats while supplies last. Presented by Prairie Farms. Shift on here for Matt Adams. So Jordy Mercer essentially is even with the bag. Their shortstop is the third baseman. Harrison, who's at third, is now in the shift at second base. Adams 0 for 2, pair of groundouts.
So with 1 strike, Mercer took about 7 big steps backwards, thinking maybe a bunt on 1 strike. I don't think he'll do it now.
Hit sharply towards second base. Harrison turns it, the third baseman. 4-5-3. In-game highlights, look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, and more. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet. Lance Lynn pitched out of trouble last inning. We'll see if it carries over the grind of that inning. Here to the 7th. You get to this point in the game, you ask the question, what's left in the tank tonight? Big, strong guy, still throwing hard, and there's strike one to Starling Marte.
Well, it's a little thing, Dan, but one of the things I was hoping for in the bottom of that inning was a bigger Cardinal response to that one run, which would have meant a longer half inning and more time for Lance Lynn to maybe regroup. You can get winded. If you throw 30 pitches in an inning, you can actually get winded, and that extra rest in between innings can sometimes be a help.
1 ball, 1 strike on Marte. He's flied to right, struck out swinging. Lynn has struck out 9. Ground ball hit to short. There's Johnny Peralta up with it quickly, and a strike to Adams. Boy, Marte can fly down the line. The Mazda game summary here tonight. What has been an outstanding ball game thus far. Pitchers duel. A.J. Burnett still in the game, 6 innings. Cervelli 1 for 2 of the runs scored. Lance Lynn 6 1/3 thus far, and Matt Carpenter is 1 for 2. The Mazda game summary. Pedro Alvarez. So Jim Edmonds, here is a true power hitter. And power, for the most part, is out of the game right now. There are exceptions to that. Here's one of them. A true power hitter in Alvarez. Would you play him any differently in terms of playing in or back with a guy like this?
It's funny you say that. Johnny, just as soon as Yachty went outside with the first pitch, Johnny took 4 steps back. Right there, he set up inside, and he came in 3 steps. So there's a method to the madness. I think that he just thought that if he lets the ball out over the plate, he's going to get a hold of it. You're going to back up a little bit, and then you got to expect him to make his pitch. So he goes inside, and he expects to jam him a little bit, and he did, and he stayed right where he was at. But, yeah, you give him a little bit more room.
And, Jimmy, that ball was hit right at John Jay, and we say all the time, is that the toughest play for a center fielder, a ball hit right at you?
You know, it's the one that doesn't get, right at you as a line drive, because they teach you to, if it's below your hat, basically, you have to come in for it. And if it's over your head, obviously you're going to go back. But those in-between balls are hard to judge, especially if as big and strong as guys are nowadays. And the ball gets out there in a hurry.
Francisco Cervelli. Hit out of play, 0-2. Well, we're getting our answer about Lance Lynn. Plenty left in the tank.
Just going to say the same thing. He's working quick and making good pitches and not wasting any energy in this inning.
Here's an 0-2 and a strikeout, a season high 10 tonight for Lance Lynn. What a ball game he's had. Time to stretch on a Friday night here in Busch. Justin Ott, big Cardinals fan in the ICU unit at St. Louis University Hospital. Want to mention to Justin, get here soon, back to the ballpark. So thoughts and prayers to Justin Ott. Gateway Honda home run inning. If a Cardinals player hits a home run, the Gateway Honda dealers will donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Burnett out. Chevy called to the pen. Right-hander in.
Cabanero, Archimedes Cabanero, a couple of years with Miami in the big league level. Our Chevy called to the bullpen. And, you know, when you think of Archimedes Cabanero, you've got to think of the great mathematician from ancient Greece. That's what I think of.
I think base hit for Peralta. I'm advancing the story.
Good.
I'm glad you said that. I was starting to think he was a little crazy.
Well, I can help you with that.
Absolutely.
This is how you greet a reliever?
Exactly. Come out swinging. You know, it's one of the things, Jim, that people sometimes don't like. You're down and they want you to take a pitch, but for your philosophy, even late in games with a chance to swing the bat, are you looking for that first pitch when you come to the plate?
Well, you know what? There's so much technology these days. These guys know exactly what he's trying to do. They know if he's got control. He obviously throws 100 miles an hour. So I think you definitely don't want to get behind. And if you've seen him come into games and throw strikes, then you want to get on the first pitch as soon as you can. And that was a great job by Johnny hitting right there.
Jason Hayward. A little surprised, either one of you, that Burnett at 97 pitches is out of the game, the way that he was rolling?
I'm not terribly surprised because I know the arm that this guy's got, and I know how good they can be in the 8th and 9th inning for Pittsburgh. And I think Clint Hurdle wanted to roll the dice with his bullpen. He's done that quite a bit the last couple of years. He has had a lot of trust in his bullpen. Burnett did his job. I'm not fully surprised.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I would be surprised normally, but the first pitch I saw him throw at 99, and I know what's behind him. Yeah, it's like Kansas City last year. You know your 7, 8, 9 are pretty solid. You're going to go to him.
He is throwing hard, man.
And I happened to Google Archimedes earlier, so I can tell you, Dan, off the air, all kinds of things about Archimedes if you'd like to know.
Can't wait. You know what's great though is when you have your first game telecast, the rookie has to take everybody out to dinner later. So we'll just do it. We'll just do it over dinner as Jimmy pays.
There you go.
That's the best idea. I've known you a long time, and that's the best idea by far you've ever had.
Thank you.
This is
always thinking.
This is a long day at the ballpark without being able to go inside and eat in the locker room.
Spoken like the true athlete you are, Jimmy.
No, when you're a player, you're refueling. When you're an ex-player, you eat.
Uh-huh. Or broadcaster.
Right.
Sure, the guys in the truck got catered food down there.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, right.
Sure they do.
They can come along, too.
3-2 pitch. Runner goes. Hayward hits it down the left field line and out of play. Cabanero made his major league debut in 2013. Again was called upon to help the Marlins last year. He was in the Dominican Summer League. Had Tommy John surgery in 2011. He's always been a reliever, never in a rotation. And as we've seen here, a live arm. 3-2 pitch. Runner goes again. And we'll do it again.
Burnett, by the way, Dan, out of this game, 7 strikeouts today. He's now tied with Kevin Brown, 41st all-time in strikeouts in Major League history. And he just passed the guy you may have heard of. He's got one more strikeout than this left-hander that was pretty good that pitched on the West Coast named Sandy Koufax.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Crowd trying to come alive. 3-2 pitch again to Hayward instead of check on Peralta. If Hayward can dial him in, arms extended, you could see him launch one into right. Peralta, the runner at first base. Here it comes. And a walk to Hayward. So base hit and a walk. Cardinals have life here in the home half of the 7th. Tonight, Fox Sports Live will have full coverage from Vegas of Mayweather and Pacquiao. Plus, what did Jameis Winston have to say after officially signing with the Bucs? Our NFL draft expert tells you which second-round quarterbacks could have the biggest impact, and you can see this all at Fox Sports Live tonight on Fox Sports 1.
I wonder if Clint Hurdle is rethinking the question you asked just a moment ago about whether or not Burnett should go back out for the inning. Unfortunately, you can't change your mind. He's sending out Ray Searage now. We mentioned earlier, does a terrific job as a pitching coach here, and he's going to go out and try to calm down Archimedes. But I think more importantly, he's trying to get a reliever a chance to get ready because they see something in him that doesn't look right.
Well, they do have two lefties, Tony Watson, Antonio Bastardo. And that's Jared Hughes, the right-hander. You'd have to figure they'd get a lefty up for Colton Wong. Cardinals with an all right-handed bench tonight with Cruz, Cosma, Reynolds, Borges.
And really saying that in jest about Clint Hurdle because the reality is if you're a manager, here's how you've got to think. You make a move, and it either works or it doesn't. But while you're in the middle of that, you can't get stuck evaluating that and thinking about that and wondering because otherwise you'll be behind in the next move. So you have to kind of just live with it and say, okay, now he's in this game. Now what do I think? Is he gonna? Have I seen him come back and strike out 3 guys in a row? Does he have that kind of ability? Who's he facing? Next 3 batters. Who do I need to have ready for the next 3 batters?
Big at bat here. Molina has singled to right. 2 runners on, nobody out. Wondering about the outfield arms. All are plus. Marte, McCutchen, and Polanco. They're trying to keep Peralta close to the bag at second. First pitch to Yadier Molina. Interesting to see him bunt. You have a runner in scoring position. Some believe you don't bunt because you have 3 cracks at it with that runner at second base.
Well, what you don't want is the double play. That may be part of the thinking.
1 ball, 1 strike. And right now what they're trying to do, they're keeping the runner Peralta close to second. Alvarez is charging, so this bunt needs to go towards third.
Really, anytime it's first and second, the better option is to bunt the ball to the third baseman because that will vacate that third base bag. The only way a team can combat that is put on the wheel play and have the shortstop cover third, but you're not going to do that with Molina at the plate. So bunt it hard to the third baseman.
2 strikes.
Ricky Dandy button here because you know that you got the pitcher coming up after Colt. You're probably going to get a pinch hitter. Otherwise, I would think Yadi would be swinging the bat.
Big gap in left center. And the 1-2 pitch.
He's swinging it now.
Well, yeah, for sure now, but I meant in that situation.
Right.
If anybody was wondering why he would be bunting at home.
Pinch hitters available. Think maybe Borges would be first off the bench today.
Broken bat and caught it short to second. Double play. What a play. Jordy Mercer to Walker. Double play. inches away from maybe a tie game. And it turns into a double play. And Peralta standing at the bag at second base just to make sure that they do not want to review it or challenge it. Let's see here.
Well, Peralta's caught in between. He knows that he might catch the ball, but he starts just a tad too late trying to get back to the bag. Now, he thinks he's safe, and he might be right.
He is right.
Well, again, if you go back to the ball has to be at the back of the glove to see it for it to be a catch. You know, we talk about it at first base. Well, in this case, the second base bag. So the foot is there. The ball may be in the glove, but you still saw a little of the white sticking out.
Exactly right. And I got to tell you, and I'm risking alienating everybody by saying this and alienating both you and Jim. But I'm absolutely amazed at how good umpires are since we've started this replay situation to be able to have challenges and reviews. Most times they're right. Or when we slow down the play, we see just how good they are on stolen bases. I think they got this one wrong, but to me, they're right more than they're wrong.
The crowd has just seen it. The video board here at the ballpark. We both believe it'll be overturned. Jimmy, you do as well, I know, because you're seeing it through Cardinal red glasses. So
yeah, I became a fan there for a split second. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Started to sound like those guys in Chicago.
Well, the important thing is, what does the guy say on the other end of the back phone there?
Right.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty clear situations that were not called the way I thought they were.
Commissioner Gordon says safe.
Fortunately, that one worked.
Of course, we have Commissioner Rob Manfred, but you're referring to Commissioner Gordon of Batman fame.
I said it was the bat phone, didn't I?
Exactly. Jim Hayes is the Joker.
I thought he was Alfred.
Well, Clint Hurdle heading out to the mound. That'll be it for the hard-throwing right-hander. Colton Wong due up. He'll face a lefty when we come back. Or Chevy called to the pen. Be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Our Chevy called to the pen, Antonio Bastardo. You know, Colton Wong in his career against left-handed pitching, albeit brief, is actually hit much better against lefties than righties. 286 against left-handed pitching, 236 against the righties in his career, which may surprise some.
Yeah, that's an impressive thing for a guy like Wong, a young player, to have that kind of plate awareness against left-handers. It shows me that he's able to hit that breaking ball from the lefties and stay on it and take it the other way when need be. And this is a tough left-hander. He's not maybe the guy he was a couple of years ago, but when Bastardo was good with the Phillies, he was lights out good.
Comes to the Pirates in a trade for Joely Rodriguez. Runners at first and second, one out. That ball in the dirt. Remember, they used to have, along with Tony Watson, they had Wilson, Justin Wilson, and he was the centerpiece of the deal going back to the Yankees for Cervelli. So Justin Wilson, that lefty, is now with the New York Yankees. Long look. 1-0 pitch.
We talked about the important pitches that Lance Lynn made in the top of the 6th inning. And those pitches have given him an opportunity to maybe be the winning pitcher in this game. He won't hit. Mark Reynolds in the on-deck circle will hit for him as long as Wong doesn't hit into a double play here. But the job he did with the bases loaded makes him a potential winner in this game.
The 1-1. Tough pitch, 1-2.
Sharp breaking slider. Started out middle of the plate, way off the plate, hard to lay off.
One-two pitch to Colton Wong. Jim Edmonds, when you face the lefty-lefty matchup, you being a lefty hitter, idea to go up the middle, other way to keep the front shoulder in?
Try to stay on the ball, try to swing at strikes. A lot of these guys, when they come in, you're the only guy that get to get out, and they try to get you to chase that slider, especially with guys in scoring position.
That's the operative word, isn't it, Jim? Try. I mean, this is not an easy game, and the pitcher, you know, he knows what he's doing, and he's going to try to exploit that, try to tease him with that slider, make it get part of the corner and make you chase.
These guys coming out of the bullpen are good at their job, and they really do throw that slider that looks like a strike and ends up a ball.
2-2 in the dirt. Now 3-2, Jimmy. What are you thinking at this particular pitch? It's a big one. Young hitter. Do you have to go with the slider here if you're Bastardo?
Well, I was going to say they won't give in. A lot of these guys will not give in. They would rather, it seems to me, guys would rather let up a walk right here than a big hit and let the next guy come in and try to put out the fire. So I'm still not letting it fly if I'm the hitter right here. I'm still trying to stay on the ball and swing at a strike.
It's one of the huge differences I've found, guys, between AAA players and big league players. I mean, Bastardo believes he can throw a slider for a strike as well as he could throw a fastball for a strike, or he wouldn't be a reliever in the big leagues. And you've got to believe that. Now, it may not be true, but you've got to believe that, and you've got to go with your best stuff. I'm guessing slider here. I still can't hit it, but I'm guessing slider.
3-2. On the outside corner, Wong can't believe it. My goodness, that looked low and away.
That's why we don't guess, Ricky.
That's right. I told you. I wouldn't have hit it anyway, but it's probably not a strike. This ball off the plate. Interesting that Cervelli was jumping up too, but the umpire rings up Colton Wong. Got a double steal now. Go ahead, run at second base.
That home plate umpire is Mike Malchinski, and he is in his second year in the big leagues. I would say he's been fairly consistent.
McCutcheon wasn't out either early on.
Nope. Look at the hustle. Come on. Come on.
I'm tired just watching it. Woo!
Reviews, first month in and year 2. Some of the stats, I like the average time, 147. That's been dropping.
But again, 42% overturned of the ones that they look at. Think of the number of times that the manager comes out and they decide not to. I mean, that's another whole large number. So again, I think the umpires do a great job, and you'll have to excuse me for saying so.
You're excused. Here's Reynolds. First pitch,
I know
foul.
No, it's not fashionable
to be nice.
Be nice to the umpires, Ricky.
I do think they do a great job. It's hard. I umpired once when I was 12 years old in a Little League game. Missed my first call. And Dad yelled at me, and I said I quit.
And all Jimmy did was chirp the whole time. We used to be up here trying to cover for him. Reynolds chops it foul again. Jimmy didn't like a call. He used to always fiddle with the dirt with his feet, head down. It had words with the home plate umpire. Numbers for Jared Hughes. Am I right, Jimmy?
Well, they know when they miss a pitch, and they should know that you know. And I always firmly believe that I was taught not to show anybody up, keep your head down, and just talk to them a little bit about it. Hopefully that would earn some respect and let them know you knew where the strike zone was.
Very nice.
Most of the time that didn't work.
Up the middle with the shift against Reynolds. This game is tied 1-1. A broken bat. Infield hit for Mark Reynolds. The Cardinals will take it.
Well, the Cardinals signed Mark Reynolds to hit balls where Jim Edmonds is sitting right now. But occasionally, they'll take this, too. There's the shift. The open side on the left side of the infield. Nobody there. Second baseman dives to knock it down, at least to save a run. That's Neil Walker. But RBI infield hit for Mark Reynolds. We have ourselves a ball game.
John Jay, runners at first and third. And now Clint Hurdle will be making another move, and it looks like he'll bring in Tony Watson. And we'll have a double switch as well. So Watson will face Jay when we come back. Still brewed the hard way. This Bud's for you. Lance Lynn, and Ricky mentioned it moments ago, the job that he did in the 6th inning to keep this game close. Bases loaded, nobody out. He got Harrison, McCutchen, and Walker. Kept it 1-0. And a new first baseman in for Pittsburgh. But Sean Rodriguez, And here is Tony Watson, part of the double switch. Our Chevy called to the pen. 13th appearance already.
Very tough left-hander.
2 outs, 2 on. You know, a real key, Rick, when you look at this game, Mike Matheny starting the runners with Wong at the plate. First and second, he starts the runners. If he doesn't do that, they don't score on the infield hit.
That's a great point, Danny, and it's a kind of a gutsy move, too. Colton ends up striking out, but Cervelli, we talked earlier, the Cardinals not afraid to run on him, and he took a chance, gambled with that. Cervelli tried to hold that glove as long as he could before popping up and couldn't throw out either runners. Really, they didn't even make an attempt to do that, and that set up the infield hit.
And I think it's gutsy, too, where you have a left-handed batter and an easier throw for the catcher. It's not impeded to go down to third.
So stolen bases for Peralta and Hayward on the double steal, a key part of that inning.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to John Jay. Ground ball, and it's a race to the bag. Jay is tagged out at first. Sean Rodriguez in and out of the glove. The ball finds you just in the game in a key spot, and he tags out Jay. Let's go to our studio and a Bomberito Sports Update with Pat Paris. Well, I'll start with you, Ricky Horton. He did it at Fenway Park. Your reaction to A-Rod tying Willie Mays. What do you think?
Well, Willie Mays is one of my favorite all-time players. So, it's just so hard for me to know exactly where to put A-Rod. I mean, he's a guy that I think we know is a great player, but you just have kind of mixed feelings about him. But Willie Mays, I mean, he's just one of the heroes of this game.
Ricky, are you really that old?
I saw Willie Mays play at the end of his career. I did not play with him, Jim, but I saw him play as a Met at the end, and he had diminished skills, but it didn't matter to me. He was bigger than life.
Leave it to Jim Edmonds on a historic night to say, Ricky, are you that old?
Yeah. You know what I should have said? Yes. It would have been easier.
Not at all. Not at all.
Here is Jordy Mercer against Seth Maness. How about for you, Jimmy? I mean, you know him. He's somewhat of a contemporary. What are your thoughts?
You know, I have mixed emotions, and I just don't want to overstep my bounds. I think no matter the way you look at it, the same thing with Mark McGwire. I mean, you still have to hit the ball. You still have to hit home runs. Apparently, if you performance-enhancing stuff helps, but know, that's a big question, and who did it, who didn't do it, how many people did it. So I still think it's an amazing feat, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that don't agree with that. But yeah, it's still a question mark, I think, as far as passing a guy like Willie Mays. I think Willie Mays is, you know, what, second in line behind Babe Ruth in a lot of people's eyes. So.
And what's amazing, and you could also bring up the P. Rose situation as almost a parallel to this, and it's, you know, you have mixed emotions, because it's not that you don't recognize how great the player was, and you know, Pete Rose, of course, is trying to get reinstated, and questions about whether that will happen from having bet on baseball. And the guys with the steroid era, you're not really saying they weren't great players, you're just kind of wondering what to do with that.
Watch Hayward here. Fires into second base. Oh, my! Oh, what a throw! Bullet from right field. Wow! Wow! Is that fun to watch?
I didn't want to overstep the play, but I was going to say, watch this, he's going to be out, because I had a great angle. I was just hoping one of the fans didn't touch the ball.
Right on the money. That's a strike, and that's an out.
You can't throw it any better than that, boys.
That was terrific. That's Sean Rodriguez, by the way, just came into the game. His father is a player, or is actually a coach in the Cardinals minor league system, and Jason Hayward just schooled him there. Johnny Rodriguez, A-ball manager. I talked to him about his son, Sean, and with tears in his eyes, he says, I just love to watch him play. I'm not sure he loved watching that play.
How good was that throw? Oh. Man, is it fun to watch guys throw. And because we have Jim Edmonds here, it's a treat to talk about outfield defense. Jimmy, I always felt, and I'm not sure if you believe this is fair or not, they're going to review the play. I always felt your arm was strong. It's not in the category of Hayward or some of the other guys that have these, I think, plus arms. But you were as accurate as anybody in the game, maybe the most accurate we've seen over the last 10 years. You can get away with not having the strongest arm if you're accurate, and you were.
Yeah, you know what? I learned, too, at an early age, I threw some balls in the stands, and they told me it's better to throw the ball on the money than to overthrow it. And I used to have a great arm when I was a kid, and slowly just kind of lost it a little bit. And, yeah, I just learned to throw the ball on the money. I think if you can get the ball, get rid of it faster than everyone else and throw it on the money, you got a better chance of throwing people out. Rarely do you see guys pick up the ball and give it everything they got and throw the ball on the money like Jason just did right there. That's what makes that such an exceptional throw, and especially in a situation like this right now.
Isn't it amazing that Jimmy's talking about that with outfielders, but you could make the same comment about young pitchers. I mean, they want to spin the gun, throw the ball through the wall, and then they learn accuracy matters.
On the money. Rodriguez tagged out and sent a charge to the fans here at Busch Stadium, and they're giving him a standing ovation in right, the seats near Jason Hayward. Now it's Gregory Polanco. Jason Hayward just acknowledged the crowd. He'll get a huge ovation when the Cardinals come off the field as well, and we'll follow him in and let you take in the crowd. Here's a 1-1. Ground ball. Nicely done, Jason Hayward. The Cardinals have Carpenter, Holiday, and Adams. 1-1. This has a late season September feel to it with the Cardinals and the Pirates, just like we saw the tail end of last year, going back and forth, trying to catch Milwaukee. Jason Hayward, tremendous play in right. Carpenter trying for another multi-hit game. And Matt with 15 multi-hit games already.
I love the Cardinal fans' reaction to Jason Hayward's throw as he was coming off the field. And we showed a great look, not only of Jason getting the high fives from his teammates when he got in the dugout, but the fans behind him who were 100% clear that they knew they saw a great defensive play, and they wanted him to know that in St. Louis, Cardinal fans appreciate defense. They understand good defense. They've seen Jim Edmonds play center. They've seen Ozzie Smith play short. The older fans saw Curt Flood play center field.
One-two pitch to Carpenter. Some pretty good names you just mentioned there, Mr. Horton. It's what makes this city and this franchise, we all feel, one of the best in sports. Tradition, winning, great players. 2-2. It on the hands of Matt Carpenter.
And the fans, don't forget the fans.
It's interesting with fans, again, in St. Louis, you don't really have to teach them that defense matters. I think that it's just understood. But I think there are some groups of baseball fans across the country that are going to think about strikeouts and home runs and RBIs and on-base percentage, and that's about it. But boy, when you understand how important defense can be, you really start getting this game.
Key moments in this game, if you just joined us, Lance Lynn pitching out of a bases-loaded jam after a run had scored. That was in the 6th against Harrison, McCutchen, and Walker. Cardinals running with first and second and Wong up. That made it 2nd and 3rd after he struck out. Cardinals score on an infield hit. And then Hayward's play moments ago. That's into center field, and it drops in. Make it 16 multi-hit games for the Cardinals' Matt Carpenter.
Carpenter gets jammed on this. And Dan, I just looked up on the scoreboard and I see they may have changed his last hit to an error. They originally had scored it a hit. Cardinals now with just 5 hits in this game. And they may have changed the infield hit where the ball was thrown away by Alvarez. And I think that was a hit. So I'm kind of surprised they changed it. But I wonder whether it is a multi-hit game now.
Thanks for ruining it.
Hey, I didn't ruin it. Somebody upstairs did.
So I'm going with the air now. But I'm going to say after the game it's changed back.
And I'll line up right behind you, Dan, because I hate to disappoint you.
And then we can high-five each other.
Yeah, great.
Chest bumps.
At Jimmy's place for dinner.
Jimmy's place.
Come on
I
over.
like it. Holiday hits into a double play. 6-4-3 on the double play. I believe that's only the second double play that Matt Holiday has hit into this year. That is the second double play turned by Pittsburgh tonight.
Carpenter doing his work, trying to slide to disrupt the throw. Did all he could do.
Remember last year, Matt Adams, Colt Wong, back-to-back nights with walk-off homers against these Pirates. Tonight he is hitless. 3 groundouts. Shift is on. Pitch inside. I'll ask both of you. You have a shift here with Matt Adams. First of all, Rick, a shift here. How would you pitch Matt Adams with the shift?
I would pitch him the same way I wanted to pitch him, whether there's a shift or not.
Ooh, I like it.
And the reason is, and I want Jimmy to expand on that, but I think if a pitcher pitches to the shift, in your mind you're losing half of the plate. You're saying, well, don't throw the ball away. Well, what if I'm gonna? I mean, that's what I do. And just because there's nobody standing over there, you know the defense is going to play at the optimal place that the coaches find for success. But I've got to pitch him the way I'm going to get him out. So you like that bunt, Jim?
I don't mind it right there. I mean, you got Johnny Peralta coming up next. I mean, they're going to either force them to make a move again, or you got a matchup that might be in your favor. The only problem is, you know, Matt's going to be tough to score from first.
Bat nearly came out of his hand, and he strikes out. Watson has come in. Recorded 4 outs. We're tied up 1-1. We head to the ninth. Mentioned yesterday, Rosenthal, third Cardinal closer to have 8 saves before the end of April. He gets Harrison, McCutchen, and Walker here in the top of the ninth. A real key for Trevor Rosenthal, or Chevy called to the pen, retiring the first batter. He should do it here. High fly ball, shallow center. Who wants it? That's Jay coming on, and he calls off Colton Wong. Jimmy, what did you see out there?
That's a tough play. That's a big swing and a high fly ball. I think Johnny had to wait to see if that ball was hit solid or not. I think he actually had to break back a little bit and got a little bit of a late jump. But Colton Wong did a great job getting out deep into center field and getting out of the way the last second.
Young fans watching the game, Jimmy, center fielder takes charge. Easier play coming in, correct?
For sure, yeah, definitely. And you also got to know your second baseman and know how far he can get out there. And once you kind of mesh a little bit, it makes it a lot easier. You get guys that don't listen and don't get out there or don't get out of the way. It makes it hard on both. But the center fielder, for sure, if you're worried about running into people, it's a totally different game.
What I like, Jimmy, on that particular play, we talked about it earlier about communication. John Jay was communicating to Colton, and it looked as if he was calling for it, but then they talked a little bit afterwards, too, just to kind of make sure they were on the same page. I thought we had a good look at that.
Yeah, I think sometimes you ask him, did you hear me? Or I used to tell guys, make sure you get out of the way. Sometimes guys just stop, and you can see that white blur in front of you, and it makes you think they're still standing there, maybe even camped. And it always gives you an uneasy feeling. So you want them to kind of move to the side or duck or do something to get out of the way so you don't see them anymore. You don't want to see any kind of white in your vision.
2-2 on Andrew McCutchen. McCutchen twice has been called out on strikes. Also fly to center field. Rosenthal, first batter faced. They are now 0 for 8 against Trevor, and that is such a key because look at the previous year, and in particular, the walks.
Right. He definitely was throwing first pitch balls and walking or giving up a hit to the first batter he faced. Those are key stats for a reliever, especially your closer, because you don't have a lot of margin for error. He's got no margin for error here.
Liriano and Lackey coming up tomorrow. Will come your way at 12:30 here on Fox Sports Midwest. Quick turnaround. 2-2 pitch to McCutchen. You know, you look at Andrew McCutchen, he's hitting 187, but this is one of the last guys you want to face in a tight game. You know it's just a matter of time. The combination of power and speed disrupt what the Cardinals or Rosenthal wants to do. The 2-2 chops it left side, and we're going to see that speed on display here. So an infield hit for Andrew McCutchen.
There's that hole on the left side of the Cardinals infield. Matt Carpenter taking the double away from McCutchen. He was guarding the line, so a big hole on that left side, but doesn't really matter whether an infielder gets to that. They're not going to throw out McCutchen. Now you've got a guy with pretty good bat control at the plate. Walker's had quite a few big hits against the Cardinals in his career, in late innings especially, but having a rough night so far. Hit and run a possibility, straight steal a possibility.
Ricky, being a reliever in tight situations like this, you had a great pickoff move, but for a right-hander, and you were a pitching coach, what would you tell Trevor Rosenthal? Because you have to be careful not to speed up, even though McCutchen's the runner at first.
Yeah, I would rather have a pitcher hold a runner by varying his time to the plate than mess with his delivery to the plate. And I understand that, you know, people want to be 1-1 and 1-2, and they become a science with that in terms of how quick you are with your body to the plate. But Rosenthal's fastball is pretty quick on its own. I mean, it doesn't need a lot of help. So it's getting up there at 98 miles an hour. Just do your norm. The pitch matters more than the speed to the plate.
A changeup on 2-0.
Dan, we saw that quite a bit in the 80s, long time ago, but Cardinal fans that remember those times and what Willie McGee and Vince Coleman would do to pitchers who altered their delivery, what they would do is give up doubles to Tommy Herr and Jack Clark because they'd make a bad pitch up in the zone.
McCutchen against St. Louis, 12 stolen base attempts. If you're wondering, 6 steals. Little bigger lead this time, leaning towards second, not running. Fouled back and a good cut. It's now 2-2, and that was 96 on the gun. We've seen the workload of Rosenthal be spaced out a little bit more this year, and he seems to be fresh coming into games. We'll see if that holds true tonight. Crowd starting to come alive. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Part of being fresher is not throwing 30 pitches in an inning.
Ground ball that's hit to short. Out at second. The turn. Oh, what a turn! What a turn by Kolten Wong! I didn't think they had any chance. 6-4-3 on the double play.
Pirates aren't sure about that out call at first base, and we may have a conversation about this one, but it doesn't negate either way the turn of Kolten Wong.
And McCutchen is limping out at second base, trying to break up the double play. Let's show you the replay first. Out or safe?
The stretch by Adams, trying to get out and get the ball. Good long stretch.
Might be one of those plays. It's so close you don't overturn it. Regardless, I can't believe Wong made it that close. And right now, a big concern for the Pirates, the former MVP, McCutchen. This is a crew chief review. Remember, the Pirates did review earlier. And the umpires can come together and then have a crew chief review if a team loses a challenge.
This is all part of speeding up the game.
Jimmy.
Sorry.
Pipe it down over there.
It is interesting.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out because the rules seem to be somewhat a little foggy to some of the people watching from the outside in.
And he is safe.
Oh.
See if there's a better look that shows Walker safe at first base. Is the ball in the back of the glove? Now.
That's really close, don't you think?
Very close. Yeah, I think he's safe. On that angle, I think he's safe. So close, though.
I say it again. Usually, more times than not, those bang-bang plays do not get overturned. Unless it's pretty clear-cut, they don't overturn it.
Well, we'll have to wait and see on the condition of McCutchen, but I think they would have rather lost the review and keep McCutchen than the other way around.
You bet. Now it's Marte.
You know, Jimmy was talking about the speed of play and the latest stats, and it's kind of holding steady. 8.5 minutes faster are the games this year than a year ago.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Pitchers working quicker, batters being ready. They can't step out of the box on every single pitch. In between innings, having to be ready.
Here's a 1-1 pitch from Trevor Rosenthal to Marte. Now strike 2. Lynn and Burnett started this game. They have faced each other 5 other times. That's the most for Lynn against any other pitcher. Each pitcher with a win. 2 of those games were decided in walk-offs. The 1-2. The 2-2. Ground ball to short. Peralta to second. Sends us to the bottom of the ninth. Last July, some fireworks against these Pirates. A walk-off for Adams. 24 hours later, walk-off for Colton Wong. Will we walk it off tonight in 2015? We'll find out. Bottom of the ninth coming up.
Orioles in the game in center field for Pittsburgh, and we will have our 6th pitcher of the day for the Pirates, our Chevy call to the bullpen. Rob Scahill, been unscored upon in 2015. Both bullpens have done a nice job here tonight. Very well pitched game, and we'll see if the Cardinals can have some excitement here in the bottom of the 9th.
Johnny Peralta. It's Rob Scahill to start the bottom of the 9th. Peralta with a pair of strikeouts and also has scored the lone run for St. Louis back in the 7th. On an infield hit, Mark Reynolds. Guarding the line down at 3rd. 2 balls, no strikes. So, Rick, 2 relievers, both from the right side remaining, looking ahead. If you go to extra innings, Melanson and Liz and Scahill. That's it for the Pirates.
Cardinals much stronger because they've just used Manus and Rosenthal for an inning apiece.
Miguel Sokolovic was called up, so a fresh arm here. Villanueva, you wouldn't think would be available after a long, was it 3 1/3, I think, yesterday.
But a lot of other choices. Jordan
Sure.
Walden, you have Belial who could pitch again, and Sigerson choked from the left side. I'll tell you, this game, a very interesting game to me, Dan, and we've seen some good defensive plays. You think about Hayward's throw from right field and Neil Walker saving a run by knocking the ball down that Reynolds hit up the middle. Could have been a 2-run hit had he not done that. And I think this will be a fun game for Pat and Al to break down in our postgame show.
The 2-2 pitch to Peralta. Chop to the right side. Neil Walker. Brings in Jason Hayward. It would only be right if Jason Hayward would walk this one off.
Get your call ready.
Spontaneous.
Put your money in the jar, as they say.
Start writing this down.
Yep.
Jason Hayward does it for the... Okay, got it.
About Jay Hay, goodbye.
Shift for Hayward.
You ready for it?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Hanging slider.
0-1 pitch. Hayward hits it the other way. Get going, ball. All right, foul ball.
I said be ready.
You told me I was getting ready.
That was a hanging slider, by the way.
It was.
It just hung a little bit too much. Too far to reach.
Outfield is deep and an 0-2 pitch. Hayward has walked twice and grounded out to second. Oh, 2 pitch. Yadier Molina on deck. Hayward so far this year with 2 home runs.
You have to think Clint Hurdle breathing a little easier to find out that McCutcheon was able to stay in the game, but you wonder whether he's hampered at all. See if Jimmy can get a sign of that in center field after sliding in hard at second base, limping around.
1-2. Chop to the right side.
85% of Hayward is better than 100% of most outfielders, though.
McCutcheon was just moments ago, as Rick said, sliding in, trying to break up the double play, if you're just joining us, and limped off the field. Medical team came and checked on him. We had a camera on him in the dugout. Did not look comfortable, but still in the game. One-two pitch. Strikeout of Hayward. Matt Belisle is throwing in the Cardinals' pen. 2 outs, and it brings in Yadier Molina.
Had a pretty wide strike zone here tonight. Pitchers have taken advantage of it. I don't think that it's unrelated to the fact that we only have 1 run apiece and 11 hits in this game. Pitchers taking advantage of that wider zone.
Cardinals have struck out collectively 10 times tonight against 6 different pitchers. A.J. Burnett was 7 of those 10. Harrison again guarding the line with Molina. In the air, out to center. McCutchen, plenty of room, makes the catch. Extra innings from Busch Stadium on this Friday night. Cards and Pirates on Fox Sports Midwest. Leagues beef jerky, feed your wild side. 1-6-2 for the Pirates, 1-5-0 for St. Louis. Friday night, early in the season, Jim Edmonds has been kind enough to be with us. Jimmy, tell me about extra innings. You know, it's not late in the season, but how do players approach these types of games?
Well, you obviously don't like them. Don't like them as a player, don't like them as a commentator. But you really just got to figure out a way to get a guy on base and make something happen. La Russa used to say it's not all about the home run. It's about getting a guy on and really just getting a run across the plate. And you see a long game when guys start trying to go deep the last at-bats.
So we've got Matt Belisle in now for St. Louis. It's been Lance Lynn, Seth Maness, Rosenthal, and now Matt Belisle here in the 10th. You'll get Pedro Alvarez, Cervelli, and Mercer. Alvarez 0 for 3 tonight. And a fastball in for a strike. Matt Belisle is our Chevy call to the pen. Jimmy, I'm going to ask you about Matt, who's been around a long time, former starter, then moved to the bullpen with Cincinnati and Colorado. What have you thought of Matt?
You know what? I don't know how much I've faced him. I know he's been around for a while, and it was at the end of my career. But he's, from what I've seen, he's a guy that goes out there and throws strikes, and he's been around, so he knows how to pitch. And I just, like I said, I hit my head a few times, so I don't remember a whole lot about my career anymore. Especially with pitchers.
Someone's getting tired out there in center, I think.
It's getting a little cold out here. We need a run. The natives are getting restless, as they say.
Andrew Lambeau, by the way, at the plate. So he is hitting here in Alvarez's spot. Remember, Alvarez was double switched. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, Dan, we've talked about the weather here in this homestand, how terrific it's been at the ballpark. I mean, it's just been great. But I think you mentioned earlier it has this little bit of a fall feel to it. I mean, it is a little chilly here at the park. We've had great crowds, over 40,000 every night here at the ballpark. And I just think there is something fun about the Pirates coming to town now. And I know we feel it when we go to Pittsburgh. Those games have a little bit extra energy to it.
A little tricky hop there for Colton Wong as Belial gets the first man, Andrew Lambeau. Here's Cervelli with 1 out. By the way, Jim Edmonds was 1 for 6 off of Matt Belial. That one hit, a home run.
It's not great, but it's not too bad.
Better than most. Here's Cervelli. Sometimes you get a little concerned with the breaking ball of Matt Belial. It can be flat at times, but more times than not, his stuff has been really good. That pitch was up and a base hit out to left.
Well, just what you were talking about. He kind of hung that pitch, and he has kind of a short breaking slider. It's just got a little break to it. But if it spins out of his hand and it doesn't quite break, it stays up in the zone exactly as you mentioned. And that's when Cervelli, eyes pop out of your head and you just jump on it and you realize the pitcher's made a mistake. My time to make him pay for that. Big league hitters let you know when you've made mistakes. If you don't already know, they'll let you know.
These guys don't miss many, do they?
No, they don't.
Jordy Mercer with a runner at first. Cervelli with 2 hits tonight, 2 of the 7 for Pittsburgh. Cardinals have turned 1 double play. A short lead at first. And a strike. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 10th inning, the Cardinals will have Wong, Belial's spot, and then John Jay. St. Louis has already used Mark Reynolds off the bench.
Somehow, Dan, I think a center fielder is going to have something to do with the outcome of this game. We went through all this effort to get Jim Edmonds to sit out there, to which he's doing such a terrific job. But I think the reason is going to even get more important as we get to the end of this game. It may be a John Jay catch. It may be McCutchen having to throw a runner out at the plate. But I think the center fielder is going to be an important part of what happens.
I think that's a good call.
You're feeling that, Jim?
Center fielder is always in the middle of the action.
Swing and a miss by Mercer. By the way, if we go to the 11th and Tom B., our director, takes that shot at Jim Edmonds, it will be an empty chair. Jimmy, you
starting to dial up and see what restaurants are going to be left open.
Yeah. Didn't we already make that decision? How late's your place open,
exactly.
Jim?
Well, they're going to be open late tonight. Who's keeping the kitchen open tonight?
Here's Sean Rodriguez. He singled to right, trying to extend it to a double, and was thrown out by Jason Hayward in the 8th. Line drive, right center. Jay over to get it and cuts it off. Rodriguez 2 for 2. Cervelli on his way to third. So first and third, Gregory Polanco, and let's see if Mike Matheny wants to get a lefty-lefty matchup here.
Well, a couple of hits for Rodriguez off the bench, and He just came out swinging, didn't he? First pitch. Looking for that pitch. There's the freeze frame of the location, pretty much middle. And that's going to be it for Matt Belisle.
Gives up a couple of hits. And the Cardinals call on Randy Choate. Chevy called to the pen. Choate coming on. Different type of lefty that can be tough. Randy Choate, how do you approach hitting him if you're Polanco?
Well, this is the guy I was talking about earlier, just trying to make sure you get the ball up in the zone and strikes. Randy's a guy that gets guys out with the appearance of a strike. The ball ends up out of the zone. So he's been doing this for a long time. He knows what he's doing. A lot of times guys get a little greedy and they try to do too much against a guy who's been pitching a long time.
Jimmy, by the way, 2 for 3 with 2 doubles off of Randy Choate. Polanco is 0 for 2 in his career. First pitch to him. And Jimmy, is this type of situation where you're expecting slider after slider after slider?
Yeah, probably. I definitely am thinking about. It's a tough situation because you can sit back and try to drive the ball the other way, but if you don't hit it on the barrel, you're just going to pop a ball into left field. So there's a fine line about being too aggressive and not being aggressive enough.
There's the fastball in. 2 balls, no strikes. Mitch Harris is warming up for the Cardinals. Melanson for the Pirates.
Either way, this is the only batter that Randy Choate will face.
And I think this is that situation I talked about earlier. He right now would just assume give up a walk than to give in and give up a hit because he's trying to be too cute.
Oof, right down the middle. Two and one. This kind of pitch, if you're Polanco, boy, you want that one back.
Not sure what he was looking for there.
But looking for a strike, obviously.
2-1 pitch. Now 2-2.
That was a good spot. A fastball in on the hands, and now he's got him set up for that slider away. I would guess he goes with that here. He missed with the slider on the first pitch, but it was way too outside. You start this one right on the outside corner, hope for that little break, expand the zone, see if you can get him to chase.
That pitch right there did everything for this at bat. See if he can execute a good pitch because he's got to worry about that pitch and the slider now.
Execution.
Got him. Burnett, of all people, a broken bat single to score a run. That made it 1-0. The Cardinals in the 7th. Broken bat infield hit with 2 outs. Mark Reynolds off the bench to tie it at 1-1. Cardinals will try to win it here in the bottom of the 10th.
2 broken bat ground balls up the middle. That is the scoring today. How about that? Just got a tweet, by the way, from a Cardinal fan that wants to know if Jim Edmonds gets overtime for extra innings. And the more I look at this, I realize that that's actually a tweet from Jim himself.
Now you've done it.
Jimmy's always ahead of the game.
He is.
An innovator.
Hey, you said he was one of the smartest players you've ever been around.
Absolute innovator.
Disguised my name on the tweet.
Here's a 1-0 to Colton Wong. Wong hits it to the left side against the shift. And Mercer makes the play. The stretch by Rodriguez. 1 out. So Scahill, his second inning of work, he's seen 4 hitters, 4 up, 4 down. Peter Borges will be the hitter. I'll tell you what, one thing we're seeing with Peter Borges that we did not see in spring training, and really the first week or 2 of the regular season, he's going the other way. Doesn't pull off the pitch.
Did that so well in the last series. Got a couple hits. You and Tim talking about his needing to let the ball get deeper into the zone and not getting behind in the count and then having to chase late, which we got in the habit of doing a year ago. And I would be looking for him to get that first fastball he can see, try to take it the other way. And he didn't.
We have also talked about that he's hit a lot of times. It just seems like it's an 0-2, 1-2 count and not being aggressive early. 0-1 hit sharply to third. Harrison was playing in, 2 down.
Well, the real key is to stay away from patterns. You don't want to do the same thing so much to where there'll be a book on you that they'll say, well, you know, he never swings at the first pitch, or he always lays off breaking balls, or he always hits the ball the other way. I mean, you've got to change as a hitter, as a pitcher has to change what he's doing.
A little bit of a shift here for John Jay. He's so good at going the other way, especially against lefties. And now it's against the righty Scahill. He's got a lot of hitting room there to the left side.
Chance for a center fielder to be the hero.
You got it. Big gap in right center. Jay hits it the other way. Base hit.
It's a great swing right there.
Jimmy, such an easy swing from John Jay, wasn't it? He just kind of put the bat head on the ball.
You know what? That's what we were talking about before. These extra inning games are all about getting guys on base, and he just got a ball out over the plate, didn't try to do too much with it, and stayed on it. Try to pull that ball in the air for a homer. You roll over and basically a ground ball to short.
Matt Carpenter has been on base 3 times tonight. Matt with 3 home runs. Jay the winning run at first. The check on John Jay. Ball scoots away, but not far enough. John Jay was trying to steal all the way back in the first inning, and then was caught stealing by Cervelli, who was caught 2 of 3.
Sean Rodriguez has a couple of hits since coming in, but it looks like he's got a couple of springs in his glove.
Earlier, he had that ball bounce out.
I wouldn't mind the third baseman being the hero tonight. I'll pass on the center fielder.
Well, what if he scores the center fielder?
Hey, I think the third baseman's the hero if he scores the center fielder. I'll take either.
Jimmy, you're begging.
Good
okay?
combo.
We're going to be here a while.
It's either that or start sending up the hot chocolate.
Outfield extremely deep here for Pittsburgh. 2 outs, Jay the runner at first. And a ball to Carpenter. This is where this lineup for St. Louis, when you think about it, gets just unforgiving, at least at this point in the season, especially with Carpenter, then Holiday.
You have power potential in the middle of the lineup, especially. You got Holiday, you can win it with one swing of the bat. Adams, Peralta.
One-0 pitch.
Both clubs, Dan, are going to have to really be conscious of the fact that there's a day game tomorrow. You think about how they use their bullpen, and you know that's both in the mind of Clint Hurdle and Mike Matheny. You know, they're thinking about today. In the back of their mind, they're thinking about tomorrow.
One-one. Carpenter with a little flare down the left field line and out of play.
I think when you're talking about this part of the lineup is pretty impressive, especially if Johnny gets on. Because you know, as a pitcher, his standpoint, you know you have a tough at bat right here. And then you can't let up. You have Matt Holliday and then Matt Adams coming up right behind him. And this is a tough spot for a pitcher, especially in extra innings, when one swing of the bat will end the game.
One ball, two strikes on Matt Carpenter. Check on Jay. If you're wondering, Holiday 3 for 3 with a double and a home run off this right-hander, and nobody getting loose in the Pirates' pen.
22 strikeouts in this game so far.
The 1-2. Base hit, right side. Jay to second. On his way to third. They'll hold him up at third. You can't say it now, Rick, but it is a multi-hit game for sure for Matt Carpenter.
I knew you were waiting on that.
Don't steal my thunder now. And it's a double again. It's 14 now for Carpenter.
Yeah, this isn't an error. Nobody's taking this hit away from Matt Carpenter. And it gives the Cardinals a chance to win it here in the 10th. Polanco wasn't sure where to throw that baseball when he got in the corner. He wasn't sure whether to throw it to second or bring it home. John Jay hustling to third, picking up Oquendo at this point. He slows him down.
Ricky, that's a great point. I'm watching Oquendo from here, and he's waving him the whole way, hoping that he's going to throw the ball to second base. And it just easy run score right there for John Jay. And he is reading that the whole way.
And Polanco thought about it. I don't know if you had a good view of Polanco or not. But he actually considered throwing the ball to second base and actually was almost looking to second and throwing it home, so some indecision.
Well, let's talk about this decision right now for the Pirates. First base open. Holiday was robbed back in the fourth, hit into a hard double play, struck out twice, and I'm sure they're going over obviously what they want to do with first base open. Be careful, but do you want to load him up for Adams?
Yeah, we all know he's 3 for 3 against you, so let's talk about it.
And let's also go back to the play that you guys were just discussing, Polanco in right field.
Well, you know, he's playing deep, too, with no doubles. If he's not playing deep and no doubles right there, from preventing a double, yeah, that ball gets a little bit behind him at all, and Johnny's scoring right there, and the game is over.
They will walk Holiday. Matt Adams coming off a 8 for 16 series against Philly with 6 RBIs and a home run yesterday. A chance to be a hero in the 10th. And it puts all kinds of pressure on Scahill.
Well, we've talked about this quite a bit, Dan, in the past. When you've got bases loaded or you've got a base open and a pitcher pitching, you know, you can expand the zone. You can try to get him to hit your pitch. But when the bases are loaded, your margin for error really shrinks. And you can't afford to get behind Matt Adams. I think it becomes a little bit tougher to pitch with the bases loaded because you know you can't make a mistake.
Jimmy, your advice for a guy like Matt Adams in this spot? Young player, You can be a hero. What's the advice?
It's still the same thing. You got to get a ball up in the zone, and you really got to just put the barrel on it. You can't think about anything else. You can't try to go deep. And he's got such a nice, easy, short swing. I think he'll be up there looking for just a ball to hit up the middle. Hopefully he beats a shift and brings home a winner. But it's going to be interesting at bat right here.
Following an intentional walk, Adams 1 for 6. 2 outs, bases loaded. Adams, first pitch, ball 1.
It's interesting. Josh Harrison wants to play off the bag as far as he can, but John Jay keeps getting a huge lead. And not that he's going to steal home, but any ball in the dirt. And, of course, the bunt could be in play. So he's kind of got an in-between thought, Harrison at third.
1-0 pitch to Adams. 1 ball, 1 strike. Only run that matters at third base in John Jay. Adams hitless tonight. He could change it here. Base hit, Cardinals win it. Adams delivers. His right arm high in the air. He knew it. Cardinals win it 2-1.